It's time! And now, introducing your host, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Boston, Massachusetts, presenting live
the Bostonian versus the Book. Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the Book.
Here he is, Matt Perrault!
Enjoy the show, enjoy the show, enjoy the show, enjoy the show.
For the fourth time, the Bostonian versus the Book comes to you live from the Super Bowl, Radio Row, Media Row, whatever you want to call it. But thank you, Brigade, for being here because we have a show for you. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Twitter, X at Boston versus the Book. We get replayed on Sports Grid Television. The guy sitting to my right, your left, you've seen him before, but not in the flesh, not in person. He is the one, the only Adam Bjorn from BetCris, Arizona. Thank you for sitting in and doing this show with me. I know it's been, how many planes did you get on?
I think it's about half a dozen to 8. Started in Costa Rica, Barcelona, Miami for the Pegasus, Manila for the trading team, into Thailand, back to San Fran.
Oh my. So yeah, 32 hours of flying, you said?
Yeah, the Thailander here was a long one.
32 hours to get here. So I very much appreciate the effort to be a part of it. Later in the program, we're going to have a big announcement for the Bostonian versus the Book and BetCris Arizona. So definitely stick around coming up for that. We are loaded with guests today. We're Adelaide Mitchell, AD Mitchell, Ad Mitchell. We got to ask him how to say his first name. He's going to be our first guest here from the Jets, wide receiver who just got traded from Indianapolis over to the Jets. We'll have to ask him how to say his first name. How does he want to be referred to? So he's going to stop on by. Cameron Dicker, you've done research on Cameron Dicker.
Yeah, actually, I think this is my highlight of the day. When I did research, found he was born in Hong Kong. I went into a deep rabbit hole of Australian punters all the way back to Darren Bennett. So yeah, I found that one really interesting.
So we got that coming up with Cameron Dicker is going to stop on by from the LA Chargers, who arguably stats-wise is the most accurate kicker in NFL history. So he's going to stop by today. Chris Myers is a legendary broadcaster. You've heard him call NFL games for a long time. He's going to stop by and talk to us about calling games and what he thinks of this matchup between the Patriots and the Seahawks. So before we get to Mitchell, when he'll stop on by, and we're going to be here for quite a while. So guys, get comfortable. This is going to be like the old school live stream. Like who knows who's sitting down, how long we're going to go. We got guys booked all the way for 3 more hours. So including Tyrod Taylor and Donovan Mitchell and other Tony Franklin and other guys who are stopping by. I cannot wait to talk to Tony Franklin, wide receiver for the Broncos. That's going to be a fun conversation about the Patriots and the Broncos. I want to hear what he has to say about this matchup. But you have been booking games, betting games, watching American football for a long time. What is this shaping up in the betting markets for you? What is it looking like?
So this one's actually been surprising for me because we've got like 61% of the money on the Patriots. 72% of the master money is actually on the Seahawks, which this is a dynamic that, I mean, if we went through all the videos for all season, how many times we've actually been on the favorite is very rare. So the public are on the Patriots. I guess they just believe in the Patriots of old. The pros are over the Seahawks, and the total is actually fairly well balanced with some master money on the under here. But yeah, not what I expected when I sort of looked at the charts last week. Yeah.
Did it flip? Did the public just start to bet New England? Because I know in the beginning it was all Seahawk money. We talked the first time it was all Seattle.
Yeah, it was early on. But again, that was a lot of the master money moving it in that direction. Then the rec money come in, and it's really been pushing it that way ever since. Because when I looked, again, we're Thursday today. I think I looked last Friday or Saturday. And I think I even tweeted that, this looked like it was blown into a data play, which I don't think I've ever seen a data play in this theory for the Super Bowl.
Do you anticipate this number coming down before kickoff?
I think 4 is the lowest it can go to. 4.5 seems to be where it's at. There was a lot of sort of around that. It went 4.5, 5, 5.5, 5, 4.5. There was a touch of 4. I think it's really about where it is right now.
Are you surprised that some books went to 5.5? Like it got that high at certain books?
No, I think early on, again, depending on the dynamic, you get a lot of favorite and over natural money. And I think that's where in the strong master money, the professional money as we see it, was heading that Seattle way early. I think you come into this out of the last 2 games and think, Seattle just feels like they could win this. And personally, I think they could win by a couple of touchdowns.
Ooh.
But you know.
So you're on the side that everyone else is on the side. This is a blowout game coming.
Which is kind of scary because when you start hearing everybody on that, that's when I usually flip.
Yep.
And again, I am very agnostic when it comes to this world. I could be 5 minutes before the game kick and go, no, I'm off. I'm switching everything to another spot just based on what I'm seeing coming in. But yeah, it does feel like it could be that. But I know, Patriots fan right here.
we are a Patriot fan. But I don't hate it though, because I have a 14-1 ticket on Seattle. I have an 11-1 ticket on the Patriots. So I'm in a very good position just to sit back and watch the game. Yeah. I want my team to win. Don't get me wrong. I want my team to win. But I do understand that this team has a 23-year-old quarterback and has, that they replaced half the roster, and nobody in this building thought they were going to be here. If they all did, they'd be sitting on 30 and 40 and 50-1 tickets.
But let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Seattle's quarterback. I mean, Minnesota let him go for a reason.
Yes.
I mean, there's questions on that as well. But I did hear a great theory last night.
Okay.
There was a guy that's looking to go to the game, Patriots fan.
Okay.
He's saying, well, it's $5,000 to $8,000 a ticket. So he's thinking whatever the ticket costs, he'll spend on Seattle. So a ticket will either cost him double and he wins the Super Bowl, or he breaks square and loses the Super Bowl if he gets to go.
So that is a phenomenal fan hedge. I am 100% in support of fan hedging. I like that a lot. That has been made famous by our friend John Anik, who is the play-by-play voice of the UFC. He will do that all the time. He will bet largely on Seattle because if it means he wins, awesome. He makes a lot of money. Yep. But if his team wins, great. I just bought a Super Bowl. I'm good. I put my money down and my team won. So you're happy on either side. I like that theory. I don't know if I'm betting 5,000 to 8,000. and that also means that I am physically present for. So he'll buy the ticket for say 5,000. He's going to bet 5,000 on the Seahawks. So if the Patriots win, he's there for it. Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So
it just cost him 10
to be there. The ticket was 10,000, but you get the memory
at a winning Super Bowl.
At a winning, not just a losing. You're just not at the Super Bowl. You have a winning Super Bowl.
There you go.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that theory at all. It is a little expensive for a ticket. I'm not going to lie.
The tickets are insane.
$5,000 is a lot of money to go to an event.
Yeah, I mean that's the baseline price.
Right, get-in price.
Up in the nosebleeds, kind of. Yeah, I was looking at the prices, and it's really getting hard for, I guess, the average person or whatnot to go to these big sporting events these days. It's
been impossible for a long time, but this one in particular, one in San Francisco. So you're talking about the wealthiest of wealthy communities here. So you have everybody who's known for 3 or 4 years that the game's been here. So since the game has been here, everyone's been buying tickets and getting ready. Then you have all the corporate tickets that come in, and then Patriots fans who want to be a part of this, and Seahawks fans are only an hour flight up to the north. Yeah. So they're close. They can buy tickets and come on down. So I knew the ticket price was going to be outrageous. Like I knew that was a real likelihood for a explosion, if you will, from a ticket price perspective. But I don't know. I think I would 100%. If I was going to go to a game, any game, your team winning the Super Bowl is a pretty fun game to be at.
Yeah, that's it. I imagine that.
It's something that you would want to go to and be a part of it. So, all right. So we have a moment here, and I'm not sure where our friends A.D. Mitchell is going to stop on by. So we can do this now because I want to say this at the top before we get rolling with too many interviews, because I'm super excited about what the next year is going to look like, because you guys have decided to do something that we have thought about and dreamt of for a long time, and that's have a title sponsor for this program. And we've had Thursdays being brought to you by BetCris Arizona, and I know we may change that at some point depending on where you guys go as a company. But you being a part of the show every week for the next year is going to happen, and every day, not just Thursdays, but every day is going to be brought to you by BetCris Arizona. I want to say publicly thank you for the time, the energy, and the effort, and then the faith in me, the brigade, and what we have done to come on board. I am super excited for the future, and I cannot wait to see what we can do and grow thanks to you guys supporting the show.
No, 100%. And oddly enough, it was just this morning I was kind of looking through it. And I mean, this is a phenomenal sport here. And as I was kind of going at becoming even a daily thing of working out, World Cup, we're going to have 40 days of just daily updates. What's the charts looking like? NBA playoffs. We got Kentucky Derby coming up. We got the Masters, working backwards, March Madness. Like to bring the information that we're bringing on a Thursday with the charts, with the data plays, with the inside information, given the ability to people just to ask any questions they want from behind the curtains. I think that's kind of the dynamic that we've been trying to educate, the American bettors.
Right, but same way.
Post PASPA, but really given inside information that books kind of think it's sacred. And I think, it's actually information that, spreads the energy into, okay, what am I betting? Why am I betting it? And just giving people opportunities to learn more. I mean, it's an education thing.
I think that is what I love as to your angle in all of this, as to saying, hey, a educated gambler is a better gambler for us. We want the public to understand what they're playing, because now they're going to get further into it. They're going to like it more versus coming in one and done. You play a $200 parlay and you never bet ever again because you feel like you've been taken advantage of, versus playing something consistently that you know what you're trying to do.
For me, the first goal is lose less. Majority, 90% of people playing sports betting lose. Guaranteed.
Yep.
There's people out there you could give the final score to them and they'd still manage to find a loser. But my first goal is always lose less so the entertainment lasts longer. You get more out of it. You get more out of your dollar, because as the DraftKings and FanDuel like to sell these days, it's an entertainment game. Okay, so let's make it more of an entertainment game. Let's get people a bit more education so their dollar stretches further.
Yeah.
Because ultimately this is a churn game. We need liquidity and churn to sort of just take that, 3 or 4% is our goal. Not like, advertise some of these other bigger books looking to take 30% out of your pocket per bet.
Right.
That's kind of the name of the game. And we're not looking to be top dog here. We're looking to be the third or fourth app on your phone, and just sort of, when people go and look at specials or shop around. If you're betting a 10-team parlay, check it at 2 books at least.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee one of them will pay better than the other.
So I know we're talking about BetCris Arizona, but you aren't the prime relationship, and I know that's all going to work itself out. There's some things you guys have to do behind the scenes legally and whatnot, but it's not just BetCris Arizona, right? It's also New Jersey, it's Ohio. That if folks have the option to use Prime, that also is going towards Planetech.
Correct. And even, the messages I've been getting from the brigade is there's Latin America. There's, other parts of the world that you do have access to BetCris brand. So it's a global thing we're pushing. Yes, we're going through this process of acquiring Prime Sports, which will add another 3 states. We are having conversations of maybe there's a total rebrand at some point.
Okay.
But I think, I'm excited about this year for the sports, but there's some things going on behind the scenes that I'm even more excited about, that'll sort of blow some post-PASPA minds, I think, when we get down into sort of the middle of the year.
Well, looking forward to being a part of that and having BVB be a place where you can come and talk about it and tell the public and tell the world about what's happening and how you guys are growing and what you guys are doing here in the right way. I mean, I love the growth that you guys are doing. I love the approach that you've circled 2026 as in a kind of a unicorn type of year here in America. And why not go ahead and say, okay, we're going to put a flag down. And we're going to try to tell people as much as we can about what we do, just given the fact that we have the Olympics, which I didn't realize start on but the Olympics start on Sunday.
Oh, the Winter Olympics.
Yes.
I
didn't even realize that the Winter Olympics start on Sunday. Like I was like, you have Super Bowl Sunday, and you have, I don't know how much people bet on downhill ski racing, but you can bet on downhill ski racing at certain places in the world.
Well, again, our time zone, ice hockey. Ice hockey is the big thing that's bet at the Olympics. And again, Canada, US, it's a sport. But, Super Bowl finishes, then you've got a little bit of a lull.
Yeah.
People are looking for something to bet. Why not Winter Olympics? Why not some biathlon or some skeleton or luge, Jamaican bobsleds in there? So,
Yeah, why not? I mean, you've been over under on times and how fast it's going to be. And I just don't bet anything with the judge. So that's my advice to anybody. Don't bet anything with the judge, because you never know what's going to happen judge wise coming up here for any of that. So, but it's the day, and then you go right into March Madness, where right after the Olympics are over, you go straight into March Madness. And then you go all the way. That's a whole month of crazy college basketball into April. April, we have the Masters, which is clearly a huge betting event in America. Yep. And then May kicks in with the Derby and right to the World Cup.
Yeah,
for
and
June and
NBA
July.
playoffs.
Yeah, NBA
that's always
playoffs,
a
right?
big thing as
Stanley
well.
Cup as well. Forgot about that in
Yeah.
June. So you got that in May and June, and then you go right into the World Cup. What do you guys expect from the World Cup? I mean, I know, like myself, I don't bet soccer. I will bet the World Cup.
Yes.
I think most people who gamble will bet the World Cup. How big of a? You mentioned it's like 40 different Super Bowls. That's what we're talking
So
about.
it's 104 Super Bowls in 40 days.
That's amazing.
So I've got an advantage on this than the American public and the American books even, because I was in the offshore business and the LATAM business for the 2014 Brazil World Cup.
Okay.
The amount of money that came out of the US on these games, and in particular on US games, was just phenomenal. Traders, friends that I had at different places, the owners of these operations were just blown away by what? They bet what on soccer?
Yeah.
Because it was really sort of, 2010, 12 that, Australians and we'd gotten into the offshore industry, Curacao, those kind of areas, and started offering these European sports. And then, more TV come across, and then soccer, the Premier League started to pick up a little bit. But yeah, the World Cup on this time zone in these three countries is nothing anyone have ever seen on the sports side.
Does it matter the teams?
No.
Doesn't matter.
No, and we've added 16 more teams here. So we've got some Haitis, we've got some Curaçaos. There might be some 10-0, 15-0 scores.
Are you serious?
Yes,
oh,
it could
no.
well be. But these countries participating, lines change, live betting's there. You can go from a spread of 6.5 to 12.5 if it's 10-0, in the second half.
10-0.
But
10-0 in soccer. That's something.
Yeah, and unfortunate or fortunate or whatever it is, you will see some of these blowouts the way they've expanded this. But you've now got another 16 nations that potentially weren't going to be involved.
Okay.
Now that's potentially people traveling, following, all these kind of things. So now you have 48 countries in the world that are, no matter who their team, even Curacao, little old Curacao with their 500,000 population, which I spent a few years in.
Yeah.
They will be just watching and potentially betting and all these kind of things in this event. I mean, I've said it for 3, 4, 5 years. This was a goal. This is what it is. I don't think anyone really sort of saw what was coming,
right?
From a betting perspective, which is, my background, my goal, and it'll be special.
Is there, like, compare it to the NFL futures market? Is it bigger, smaller? I mean, because it's a build up. It's not just every year. It's a build up to get here.
Yeah.
So you're spending years building up the futures market versus just a 1 year run.
Correct. Much bigger. I've got some sort of insurance plays that are out there looking for things that are looking to back teams to win $30 to $40 million to cover sort of certain marketing exposures and stuff like that. So, one, you don't get that asked on the NFL. You may get some, can I get back something to win 2 or 3? And, but generally they don't expect to be able to get that. But there's people out there shopping for multi, $1 million bets to win on these kind of things. And
like shut your lights off type money. Like,
but I mean, again, there's liquidity there, and you can really push these markets. You can sort of be aggressive, and then now with the breadth of prediction markets and all these other things,
right,
you can sort of offer these arbitrage moments to really balance your book as well. Because every sports book is building their own liquidity, their own position, and then you're able to sort of use your liquidity and your position to go out there and be aggressive on some teams as well, and maybe get some of that professional money or that arbitrage money to balance your book as well.
I know we're here for the Super Bowl, but is there a sleeper in the World Cup that you think that people need to be looking at right now?
So I have backed Argentina at 10s.
Okay.
Which I was on them last one. It's not a big sleeper. There is a few others that I'm sort of looking at, but I haven't pulled the trigger on them yet. So I'll hold off to sort of saying until I actually put my money on to say this is what I'm
This is where we're going.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be, because we don't know the full field yet, right? We still have
we do the draw. I mean, yes, correct. We have a couple of playoffs in March.
Yeah, okay. So we know the entire, we know pretty much, we don't know the entire field yet.
Correct. Jamaica's still a chance.
Okay.
They got to go play New Caledonia. And then which they should get past, but then they run into Congo, which might be a little tough.
Okay. New Caledonia. I like to think of myself as a pretty worldly person with a pretty good knowledge of geography. I'm not sure I could put you where New Caledonia, because I don't know where Old Caledonia is. So where is New Caledonia?
It's out in the Oceania Conference, which is out in the Pacific Oceans.
So it's an island.
One of the islands out there.
Okay, so New Caledonia is an island. Yes. Okay, I did not know that. That would be. I would have thought it was like in the Baltics. I would have put it like in Russia. Like I would have gone like that way, not into the island nations. Okay, how population of New Caledonia is what?
Probably 50 or 60. No, I
people,
don't know.
Yeah, 50 or 60 people. All of them play soccer. They're all on the national team. Okay, I mean, I'm super excited because I mean, look, I grew up playing soccer my entire life. It was my best sport. I liked it the least. I was the best at it, so I kind of had a problem because I was really good at it, and I could run, I could jump, I was fast, I could run for days, and it fit my style. I was a really good defensive player. I wasn't a very good offensive player. So whenever the World Cup comes around, I love watching the game and the beautiful game, as they call it. And I think it's going to be in America. I think a lot of people are going to fall in love. I think that if they already had a love, they're going to get it again to want to be a part of it. So it's going to be super fun to see how the World Cup comes down and see how it goes. Come on down. Like we're going to talk to your guy.
There we go.
Cameron Dicker's going to be sitting down to be our first guest here as the kicker from the LA Chargers. We'll stop on by. He's taking off of is that real? Okay. He's taking off a diamond necklace. I thought might have been. I was like, is that real? I was like, that would be quite the thing to walk around with this on this. It looks real. Sure. I mean, if you in this room, I might buy it. No, you can, but I know I can't. But in this room, enough people can, so I don't know. Maybe easier. While Cameron is going ahead and putting away the fake jewelry, I will tell you that TLC, the official TV partner of the NFL, TLC sits at the intersection of cutting-edge technology and America's most watched sport, bringing fans closer to every moment with immersive picture quality. Meaning, the big game coming up, the Super Bowl on Sunday, on TLC is the next big thing to being, and that's the best thing to being in the stadium. Cameron Dicker from the Chargers joining us here on BVB. Adam, Matt, how are you?
I am fantastic.
Well, is this your first time coming here to Radio Row?
I was here last year.
Compare it this year to last year.
I like this year's setup more.
Oh.
It's a little more open. Do you not?
I think it's really tight.
This year?
It's really, really tight.
Oh, see, it's kind of nice. It's easier to walk everywhere. It's pretty simple. Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, so my favorite guest of the day today. I went through the list. I tell you why. Born in Hong Kong. Australian.
Yeah.
Went down a rabbit hole of Australian punters that started with Darren Bennett in 1994.
I've met Darren a few times.
Yeah, I mean, pro bowler, all pro, actually on the 1990s all-decade team for the NFL. Which then led into like Ben Graham, who I was a Geelong supporter when he played. Sav Rocker, which if you go deep into his archives, made a massive tackle for the Eagles at time. But Hong Kong, the NFL, like, tell us how you get there.
It's incredible. So I grew up in China. So I lived in Shanghai till I was 11 and then moved to Texas. Everybody plays football in Texas. So I showed up 6th grade, played soccer, and then 7th grade started playing football. Hated it. I was an O-lineman, and I was like, this sucks. Like, this is weird. Like, I'm a soccer kid, and now I'm playing O-line. Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden started kicking, took over the job, and I told the coaches, I was like, I'm either quitting or I'm just kicking. Like, I'm done playing a position. And they were like, okay, just kick. And it just kind of carried on from there.
When was the first time you saw an American football?
Probably 5th grade.
And you said, I want to kick that? Like that? We said that?
No. I mean, I played 1 year of football in China, and I was an O-lineman again. I maybe punted for us as well, but we didn't kick field goals or anything.
Right.
But that was it. Like, I don't know. Didn't really ever watch football. Never grew up watching it. Watched a lot of soccer, and that's about it. Yeah. Was a rugby guy too sometimes.
So this is going to sound a little ignorant, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I'm curious. So oftentimes, like the American mind, we think that in China, their children are taught to be very calm. They're not crazy and outwardly. People talk about your demeanor as a kicker, that nothing really bothers you, that you're just focused and you're calm. Can you relate that back to your childhood? Can you take anything that helps you as a pro kicker?
I think growing up overseas, it's a lot different than here. I had a lot of fun, traveled a bunch, got to see things, like going into in Austin, where I'm from, very wealthy area. In LA, where we're at, very wealthy area. A lot of those kids don't leave these bubbles, and then you grow up and you're like, damn, there's some bad stuff in the world, right? And so being able to see that at a young age, traveling around, you see people living in homes that are just bricks with like a sheet of metal on top, and you're like, okay, there's like things that are way more important in this world than like me kicking a football. So I kind of take that mindset and remember, like, I'm loved regardless of what happens. I know that God loves me, and I get to just enjoy them. Never ride the highs too high and never get too low in the lows.
Give him your week as to where you just were.
So, yeah, and just going on that, I think that's a huge benefit, and that's something that with my kids, my wife and I are trying to drive them into those areas. You know, I left high school, went to Darwin, which is the Aboriginal communities. Loved being up there. Go to Jamaica, lived in some ghettos, whatnot. And then my trip recently was Barcelona, Miami, Manila, Bangkok, which, again, you get into some of those areas, and it's kind of what you're talking about. And then from Bangkok back to here yesterday or the day before. But,
long flight.
Yeah.
Long flight.
So it was actually when I was in Manila, and I had my son, who's at university in Australia, fly up. And we're looking at the map and was like, wow, Manila, Shanghai, like China's right there as well. So, I think that growing up, that experience in those kind of things really humbles you, really lets you understand when you have opportunities. And I've gambled and bookmaked 30 years, my entire adult life. And I just look at it and I say to the kids, just do what you want to do. Like, appreciate what you get, do what you want to do, and then just enjoy it, because, you know, there's a lot of downsides.
100%. I started my foundation this year wholeheartedly with the idea of like getting kids to go serve in the community and exposing people to that idea, right? Like, you think your life's so bad until you see somebody else. So it makes you realize, okay, my problems aren't as bad. You get to kind of see a different sense of like, I can be a light in this world for somebody. So like, creates that opportunity for you to be some like that person for somebody else's life.
When you go and you're in these environments, or you open up doors for kids, to go back to the fact that it's just a football, it's not a big deal. In the locker room, how much do you look at the fanatics and you're just like, guys, there's so much more out here than football, and you guys are living and dying on every play, and it's our job, we love it, it's the debt, but there's other things in the world that are more important than whether or not we win?
I mean, I love to win, don't get me wrong. I think that's the most important part. Every time we go out there, every practice we're going to, it's to go win. But I think the cool thing about our team is it's dudes that are enjoying our time with each other. You know, you only have 18 weeks usually with the team. Guys can get traded throughout the season, so you enjoy every moment you can. And then at the end of the day, like we all said, it's trying to make relationships outside of the game to where you have somebody in your life for the rest of your life.
As a kicker, with a ticket to the game, there's a lot of talk about moving the championship games to neutral sites. Obviously, you saw what happened with the AFC championship game in Denver with the Patriots and the Broncos, and the kicking conditions were absolutely horrible. As a kicker, would you be in favor of moving the games to a neutral site, or do you like kicking in the weather?
It's kind of fun sometimes, right? Like we talk about it, is you got to handle it better than they do. And so it's like, yeah, if it's bad, it's not just bad for us, it's bad for both of us. Like, just figure it out. Try to make something happen. You miss one, great. You make them all, great. It's like, I don't know. Everybody knows it's bad conditions. Just to go have fun.
So for me, as you're a clutch clicker, Keely, with your stats and whatnot, but I would see that as an opportunity. Like, you know, going up and down on that kind of field, the kicker goes down the other end, they miss a field goal, your team gets the ball back, you're going up the end to kick a game-winning kick in that kind of weather. You must just, like, that's what I want to do.
That's what I prayed for. That's the opportunities that I've asked God to bless me with. And so throughout the game, I pray. Going into kicks, I'm praying. And so just being in that position where you can just walk out there knowing, like, I'm here to do this. Like, I asked for this. I'm fully confident in what I can do with the guys around me. So it's awesome.
Do you like the nickname Dicker the Kicker?
It's so fun. It's hilarious. I love hearing it. Been called it since 7th grade. So
wow,
it's been a long time.
How does mom handle it? Is how the family handle it the first time she heard
They love it. They have a good time with it. They're big fans of all the Dicker the Kicker stuff. So we have a good time.
Do you see that as like a branding opportunity in the future, that you could go ahead and like represent that brand? Because when someone says Cameron Dicker, it's like automatically.
Oh yeah, everything's Dicker the Kicker. I just did like whatever the money competition is over there, and I just put Dicker the Kicker as the name. I was like, why wouldn't I? It's fun to be around everybody. When I'm like, hey, I'm Cameron, they're like, Cameron Dicker, and they're like, Dicker the Kicker, and you're like, yeah, dude, I'm just gonna start introducing myself there. So it's fun.
The camaraderie and the overall fraternity of kickers.
Mm-hmm.
You got two good ones in this game coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
But do you guys like communicate? Do kickers like you guys? You're kind of your own thing in football. Do you guys talk to each other?
I think the specialists, it's like your own fraternity, right? Everybody knows each other. You've all kind of been around each other here and there, whether it's high school camps, college camps, just hanging out, punting, kicking. And then we all get together kind of in the off season at a couple different spots. And so just hanging out, kicking together, sharing some thoughts with each other of what's going on and just keeping life moving.
So just going back to your foundation with Wholeheartedly, my wife and I with Jamaica's hurricane recently have been sort of doing a lot of outreach down there and whatnot. But I mean, how do people get in contact with it or reach out to it, or what's your, apart from getting the people sort of out and amongst the community, what else are you looking to do, or how can people help that?
Yeah, so I help kids kind of. So I had a group. I was at Hermosa Beach Middle School, and we had 18 different student groups come and present to us a service project idea. Wow. Because for me, it was like, no matter if you're in a wealthy community or an underserved community, your parents are either going to be supporting you or they aren't. A lot of kids don't have that support, no matter what side you're on, of wanting to do their ideas. And kids have great ideas, right? So being able to go in there and say, hey, this 16-year-old wants to do this for classrooms, wants to do this because they're the ones at the event. So there's some kids that are doing we're setting up a program for 8th graders and 5th graders to work together and be able to help them throughout the transition to middle school, do things like that. So it's been a lot around centered around serving youth and just being out in the community, having fun. But I have a fun time. I do everything and anything. I love going to the children's hospitals, just trying to be a light in people's life, building homes with a group in Austin called Cornerstone Restoration. Wow. And then, working on getting my website started and then getting the Instagram rolling here pretty soon.
All right.
What drives you, besides your faith, obviously, but what drives you to go and want to do that? You're a young guy, so your career is just starting. You're going to have a long time here. Kickers can kick for a long time, obviously, in the NFL. What drives you? What do you want to accomplish?
The end of the day, I want my foundation to run. I didn't name it a Cameron Dicker Foundation or anything because I don't want my name attached to it at the end of the day, right? I want it to be something that's in schools, helping students where I don't have to be there to be a part of it. That can just kind of run on its own. I do enough fun things on my own, going to visit things that my foundation can be in its own world. But yeah, just to be the light in somebody's life, right? I think we all have the opportunity to be a blessing to others. One of my best friend's dads told me when I first got to the league, you are blessed to be a blessing to others. When we were golfing, He was like, you are going to be put in a position where everybody's going to come at you for money. People are going to be doing things. And you need to understand, come back to your faith. I'm always here for you if you have questions about things. But at the end of the day, it's about helping somebody else. And then God will reward you as you're helping others. And so that's where I've been at.
Do you have a pick for Sunday? Do you look at the Patriots and go, all right, I want them to lose? Or do you look at Seattle and go, all right, I don't like Seattle, I want them to lose?
Everybody's doubted the Patriots their entire time, and they've found ways to win games. I'm going to doubt them again. I think Seattle's winning. I don't know. Seattle's been dominating. I grew up watching some Seahawks games. My family's from Seattle area. So I was like, that's kind of cool. And then I know their punter, Michael Dixon. So I was like, I'll be there watching. It'll be cool. I know Brendan Schooler at the Patriots too. So I was like, it'll be cool for him. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna enjoy the game either way. But it kind of, I don't know.
Is there Patriot hatred in the league? Are you guys sick to death of the Patriots?
I don't care. If I'm being honest with you, if a team's winning, good for them. They've earned it. They've figured out a way to win in these games. Hasn't been prettiest all the time, but that's part of this league. You figure out ways to win. Everybody's good.
What type of coach do you like to play for? Like if you're, because everyone's talking about Mike Vrabel this week about players wanting to play for that type of coach, and that's the new type of coach in the NFL. You have a great one, obviously. Yeah. What type of coach do you like to play for?
A guy that just likes to have fun, right? At the end of the day, as long as he's willing to be one of the boys and laugh with us and have a good time. Obviously, there's a lot of serious stuff going on. But at the same time, if you're able to crack a joke, walking in the hall, somebody that can lighten the mood for everybody and just remind you that, hey, we're all here playing. We're all here doing this for each other, having fun.
Is that hard when there's pressure in the NFL? Is it hard to smile and joke around when you guys have so much pressure on you?
Sometimes, but we talk about winning's fun. So
Winning
sometimes,
solves
yeah,
everything.
when you're winning, it's a lot of fun. When you're losing, it's hard to find ways to enjoy time with people. But yeah, we're all just trying to enjoy every moment and being out there. And I don't know, Jim's a funny dude. He's like your best friend's weird dad who just like loves you so much, but you're just like, what? Like, what are we talking about right now? And his head just goes everywhere, and it's awesome.
We can go to your team for a second because
Uh-huh.
obviously your quarterback and Justin Herbert had a heck of a season this year. When you guys heard he was going to play a week after having surgery, what was that like? Because I think everybody, including me, was like, wait a minute, this dude had surgery 7 days ago and now he's playing football.
Not only did he play, he stiff-armed the dude with the broken hand right after, and everybody was like, yeah, everybody at the sidelines going crazy because we were like, this guy's insane. He's a dude who wants to win unlike anybody else in this league. Just loves playing football. That's the guy, like, there's no media thing that he wants to do. He wants to go play football. That's all he cares about. Obviously, being a quarterback, he does what he has to. But the dude, incredible human being, great to be around for the whole team, and just a great leader for us.
All right, we'll let you go on this. Tell us about TLC and what's going on for these guys. I'm a big TV guy.
Oh, yeah. So TCL, we got the 98-inch is one that I use, right?
Okay.
So 98 inches of pure dominance.
98.
They're
I
up
have
to-
an 85. I
it's
may
huge.
need to upgrade.
You may need to upgrade. You got to
That's-
make sure you have the space, though. It's
I
crazy
do.
how big it is. It's
Yeah.
so fun, though. Immersive picture quality is incredible. They're in Super Bowl 60. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
Up to 60% off. I mean, why wouldn't you
Oh.
be doing that?
Okay.
So they're a genius brand, first of all. Now, why wouldn't you be coming? We're having the home gating experience on Friday. I think 3 p.m. I'm going to be there. Come say
home
hello.
gating?
Home gating.
I've never heard that. Home gating. I love
You
that.
know how much better it is to watch a game from
Oh,
home
yes.
on your comfort
Yeah.
on a beautiful big TV.
I'm a
than it
Patriot fan.
is.
I don't watch this game with anybody.
Yeah.
I'm by myself.
So you
Go away.
enjoy it at home. You're quiet. Have a couple drinks. Just sitting there. Beautiful TV. And then it's not cold. You control the weather. Throw on a
True.
blanket. Can take a nap. No one's going to bother you.
Halftime. Good night.
100%.
I can say great TVs. I've probably used them for 10 years or so.
Oh,
Yeah.
you.
Shipped them to Jamaica and have a bunch of these.
Oh.
They're kind of early on the smart TVs
Yeah.
as well. So definitely know the product, can definitely vouch for it.
Look at that.
And usually a great price and very efficient.
I only do things I vouch for products for
I love
because
it.
I don't want to put my name on things I don't use. And this is a TV I've used since college. So I love it.
LA Chargers kicker Cameron Dicker. Dicker the kicker. You've been awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate
Thank you guys.
joining us here
Thank
in the
you.
Bostonian versus the book. Great to get him on the program. That was a ton of fun talking about everything happening here NFL wise. How about that? I mean, that's to have a guy who wants to give back that much. People often talk about athletes aren't role models, and I agree, they're not. But if you can use your platform for good, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what, 25 years old
Yeah.
and already ahead of the game?
Yeah,
I mean,
understanding what you're supposed to do. Understand he picked the Chargers. He picked the Seahawks. So we'll keep that rolling. Not a shock that the Chargers, who lost to the Patriots, would then underestimate the Patriots. Fine, let's go. We'll count the number of Seahawk selections here. So that's one. I guarantee you, by the time we're done today, it's going to be probably 5 to 6 to 7 to 1. Picking the Seahawks over the Patriots.
yeah, which who knows? Maybe by the end of the show, I'm on the other side. You know? Watching the chart here, watching the bet ticker, seeing what's coming in. I really like to be against the flow, but this one just feels like maybe against the flow is saying Seahawks by 2-3 touchdowns and everyone thinking it's 1 or 2.
I can't see it. I just cannot, for the life of me, I cannot. Unless the Patriots throw up all over themselves, which could happen. If we're talking about multiple turnovers in the first half and the game gets completely away from the Patriots.
Well, the other aspect of it, I really felt the same way against the Rams with the Seahawks. You know, they were up by 11, I guess, at one point in time.
Yep.
And you get those backdoor covers
Yeah.
and things like that. So it's really hard for teams to sort of put the foot on the throat in a Super Bowl. They go into that protection zone of trying to just maintain that lead and don't do it. So, maybe they don't have that killer instinct in them to put up. And it's a Super Bowl. These are obviously the two best teams from those two sides.
Well, people would disagree with that. See, that's the problem. I would agree with you. I think that statement's accurate. There are numerous people who do not agree with that statement. These are the two best teams because the Patriots don't belong.
Well, I get that. Yes, they were both 60+1 at the beginning of the
Yep.
year, and that. Yes, they got those home games advantages for getting the best record and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I don't know. Who are they going to say? Buffalo? I think they
Yes.
sort of struggled coming down the thing. They didn't have all the pieces of the puzzle. This isn't about quarterbacks. Yes, maybe they have one of, if not the best quarterback, but this is a team game. It goes down to the kickers and everything else. And collectively, maybe they had a strength of schedule and all these other kind of things you can throw at it. But at the end of the day, who won the games? Who showed up? Who's here? And
I thought it was interesting that he said that he praised throughout the entire game. Like he made it a point of saying that, meaning like, I'm not trying to be different in the last 2 minutes than I am in the first 2 minutes.
Right.
I'm trying to be, keep my energy, keep my mind stable throughout the entire game. And it's just a kick. It's just not, at the end of the day, I'm just kicking a ball.
yeah, and I did appreciate that he was on board with the keep the games outside, keep them,
You don't want that as a bookmaker. You don't want that.
And I've said that we've had this conversation, or I've had it somewhere multiple times.
Thus.
But keep it. It's football.
Yeah.
Football's meant to be mud and wet and dirt. And
I don't understand why you would. And look, it comes down to people crying over spilled milk, right? It comes down to the fact that, well, if I'm a Bronco fan, Mother Nature decided to dump an awful storm on my head. But you had the radar. You could have. You knew it was coming. I love snow. I love rain. I love wind. I mean, I love in October and November handicapping games in Chicago and Cleveland. Like, I love going and handicapping championship games, knowing that weather may be a factor. Now, it's gorgeous outside here. I mean,
yes, it is.
It's gorgeous here. So there's no weather. It's 60 degrees and sunny. Like, this is pristine conditions for the game on Sunday. So that's good. Good. It's the Super Bowl. You want that for a Super Bowl, but not for a championship game.
No, and we spoke about it during the playoffs, that Chicago Rams game. Like, we
freezing.
wanted that.
Yeah, it's freezing cold. It's the home, and now the Bears are going to give that up because they're stupid, and they're going to decide to go ahead and say we're going to. I mean, both. I'm speaking to all of you in Cleveland, Chicago, and Kansas City. Go and stop your politicians from doing what they're going to do, because the idea that they're going to move the Chiefs to Kansas City, where they're getting the most public money ever to build a dome, is ridiculous. At least Denver is talking about a retractable roof in 2031, but I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, but even retractable roofs, they just go, all right, let's close this thing
exactly
up.
right. Yes, 100%. That drives me crazy, and it happens in Houston all the time. When for like the Astros have a retractable roof, but whenever there's even like a small worry, close the roof. It's like sports are meant to be played outside. Bad breaks because of the rain, bad breaks because of the snow, bad breaks because of the wind. That's what's supposed to happen. That's sports. Like, I don't know why we want to homogenize everything.
No, it's just the way everything's going these days.
And people are blaming gambling and saying, well, it's all because the gamblers are so angry because they all bet Denver and they lost because the snow showed up.
Yeah, but what about all the happy gamblers that were on New England and the snow showed up?
Well, because more people bet Denver than they bet New England, so they think you guys have some big conspiracy that this is just the books conspiring with the NFL to go ahead and take their money.
Listen, I guarantee if we had that power, I wouldn't be here. I'd have my own private island out near New Caledonia somewhere and just relaxing.
I think I'm meaning to go. How do you fly to New Caledonia? Do you know? Have you ever been?
No, I have not.
Wow, that's surprising. I thought for sure you would have been. You would have been. You even know what your passport says. I thought for sure you would have wound up going to New Caledonia and go ahead and sticking in there. I mean, I think there's so many people that are concerned about the NFL not being the way it was like when I was growing up, and I understand why. Because the younger generation, if you've never seen an outdoor game in Chicago, and if all you know is an indoor game in Detroit, well, then you're going to go, well, it's always been that way. I don't want to lose the history of the sport, what the game has always been, which is a lot of weather, a lot of cold temperatures in the mud, like you mentioned, playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Yeah, and that's when you were asked about the hatred for the Patriots. He's probably too young to have lived through those
good point.
Those Brady's years that we felt as bookmakers and bettors and
a good point.
Fans and things like that. So
he's 25 years old. It's a good point.
Yeah, so now the Patriots from that younger generation, they aren't those hated Patriots from, whatever, 2001 through to whatever else. There's probably other teams now that they're looking at from that angle. But.
See, this is what I want to point this out. So there's two people behind us, and there's two other people behind us. There's 5 people in front of us here. This is what I don't like about this place. because this is as tight. This is my 4th rating in a row. I've never seen it where everyone can't move. Like, we have a gigantic, huge. This is a huge convention space. They eliminated, according to someone we talked to before the show, they eliminated 100 tables here to condense it down because they had the option of having more space, but they chose to make it small. And thus you get this, where everyone is like literally on top. We have a station to our right, we have a station to our left, we have a station in front of us, and we have these 4 guys behind us.
Yeah, when I came in here yesterday, and I sort of looked at the board and I saw number 102, and then I was coming through and it went 103, 105, 101, and I'm like, okay, where's this?
102. It's just so tight. I don't know why the NFL chose to do this and make it like this, because I guess the visual is what they want, where like it's so packed and like there's so many people around that like it makes it feel like there's more people in town than before, because it does give me the feeling that there's more people here than I thought. But according to someone we talked to before the show, that's not true. That there's less media here than years past. Doesn't feel like it.
Well, first time here, I
Yeah.
can't be a judge of this. So, but I mean, impressive. As I was coming in, I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
You know, went and got my credentials.
Yep.
Figured I'll go check the media center.
How about the Face ID?
I mean, the fact that you just walk up to cameras and they're like, bang, got your picture accepted, bang, got your. It was like going through the airport.
Yeah.
As you
But,
sort of
why isn't the airport like that? That would have been faster. The airport should be faster. Like that was like you literally. If you don't know this guy, I think I told you yesterday, but you walk up and there's like these like retinal scanner type of like take your picture cameras like at the airport. And then he takes your picture, and then you go around the corner, and there's somebody waiting for you and says, "Hi, Mr. Perrault, here's your credential." Like, what?
Yes. So I don't know where you've been flying lately, and I know the US is a little behind at times, but all through Asia, no passport, all scanning.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And going out of, I think, Houston and a couple of others now, they have that as well.
So no passport.
Whereas you had it in your hand, but you didn't show it. You just went up to the thing and then.
Okay, so in case we still have to have it though.
You have to have it in your pocket.
Okay.
Yes. But you go up, and I'm like going in through Bangkok, and they've got all my details, passport, and I'm thinking,
How?
it's obviously there's a global system of checking and boarding and booking and passports.
Does that freak you out?
It did as I went through. I thought, hang on a second.
That freaks me out that there's a global list that every human on the planet is on.
You have a passport, you're available out there somewhere. If you've done some kind of e-visa, some kind of visa, some kind of electronic travel, bookings, all these kind of things, and you go through those things and you go, why are people fighting the privacy things and stuff
Right.
like that? Because it's out there. You're out there.
You're out there, whether you like it or not. Your stuff is out there. I mean, I couldn't. That was my first experience of something of that fast checking in. I've had obviously visual. You know, I have TSA pre-check and I have clear, and I've got like my biometrics are saved somewhere in some cloud.
Yeah.
But not like that.
No, that was insanely impressive because you went in, the girl said, here, put your face in front of this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, walk around the corner, lane C, and she's already got it in her hand out. Oh, Mr. Bjorn here. Like, it was,
Here you go. Like, whoa,
it-
hi. Like, how'd you know I was coming? Like, that was
I had ID out and everything.
right. You're like getting ready for. I was waiting for a line. Like, I was in line when you go through security, and the guy said to me that was behind me. He's like, "Oh, you're getting your media credential." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You'll spend more time in this line than you will the next line." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Watch." And so, like, I couldn't believe how fast it was. It was like bang, bang, and he saw me coming out, and he goes, "I told you." I was like, "That was crazy." He goes, "Yep, we got it down now. It's really quick. It's no waiting. Get it in, get it out, and we're you know, it's fast." So it's been fun.
All right.
to see it.
So I
Yep.
will add,
Yep.
I knew the ballpark of where New Caledonia was.
Okay.
But not specifically. However, just did a quick research.
Okay.
It's actually right next to Vanuatu. Why do I say Vanuatu?
Hi, sir. How are you, Matt? All right.
Because Vanuatu is Australia's offshore that I spent 6 weeks in bookmaking about 25, 30 years ago. And New Caledonia is right next to that. So I guess outside of the east coast of Australia is where you would fly for that.
Very good. Chris Myers sitting down. The voice, once he speaks, you're going to know who he is without me having to say a darn thing. Adam and Matt, thank you for being here. Emmy award-winning broadcaster, a guy who's called World Series, Super Bowls, the Masters, Final Four, Daytona 500, Olympics. If it's been sports, Chris Myers has called it. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be on with you guys. Thanks for that introduction. This is all about the Super Bowl, and have enjoyed through the years from, 10 at ESPN to 20 plus at Fox. being with some good people to cover the great events. And there's nothing like the Super Bowl. I mean, from being down on the sidelines to post-game interviews to the build-up this week, a lot of anticipation, and that's why we're here.
How different is this over the years in terms of the build-up, in terms of the coverage? You've seen it for a while now. Did you always think it would get to this point, or is this even bigger than what you thought it would turn into?
Well, I think the week before is bigger than I thought it would, and that's gotten bigger. It's amazing. I mean, even as a kid in Miami, when the Super Bowl was held there, and I was just a fan before I got into radio and then television, I could see it building and how important it was. And then to have a whole week dedicated to, I know it used to be Radio Row, now it's Media Row because of cameras and television and everybody, which is a good thing, because I think people who can't get to the Super Bowl and be able to be here, they share the experience by listening to what everybody here has to say, not only about the game, but the city, the build-up, the parties, all that kind of stuff. And then as you get closer to the game, having been on the actual broadcast of the game with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and Aaron Andrews, that's what it's like. Okay, it's serious football stuff when you have your Super Bowl party. So the reason it's because America runs on football, and now internationally, they're reaching out. I mean, the world is we know soccer and we know basketball, but it's really reached a point where the NFL has its tentacles across the globe, and if something is big in America, usually people want to know more about it. And the NFL has certainly reached its greatest peak, and I think it's only going to be stronger, and that's why they're going international over these next few years. More international, I should say.
Yeah, so when you're coming up to a big game, big event, is it prepping for chaos or anything that could happen, or is it the magic of just living through it and calling it as you see it and just coming up with those spontaneous things?
Well, I think the first thing is you never lose the fan in yourself, right? The reason you're in this, you may like TV, radio, whatever the broadcast assignment is, but you like the sport or covering the sport. And so that part, you're not just a fan, you're broadcasting, but that fuels you. And I think you prepare as much as you can. I know when I've done the actual game and been part of the sidelines, all the information you gather, you maybe use, you don't even use 20-30% of it. It's amazing how much you leave on the floor because you hope the game is, that's why we love it. It is unpredictable. You think you might know what happened, and the coaches will tell you what they hope to happen. But then when you get out there, it's just reacting to the activity or the plays and the personalities. And then sometimes you need to plug some things in that are interesting. So you realize that some people just tune into the Super Bowl and don't watch a whole lot of football during the course of the year. So you have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, so for me, 30 years betting and bookmaking, what are some of those moments that you just, sitting there in the morning or whatnot, and you think back to, those greatest calls or greatest moments that you've had?
Well, it's funny, if you're a betting guy, I was on the sideline for the Fox broadcast of the Super Bowl. The Patriots, the Dolphins are the only undefeated team through a Super Bowl. Patriots had that season where they were undefeated and heavy favorites in the Super Bowl against the Giants, who seemed like they beat them all the time.
Appreciate that memory.
Yes, thanks. Sorry about it. But I remember in terms of where the predictions were, a little bit like I'm hearing this week. Yeah. Almost everybody's on Seattle. Yeah. So you got to be careful. But that was one that was like, whoa, in terms of, what are we seeing here? And I had, to interview Bill Belichick afterwards, who was, I'm thinking, it's going to be great. And then all of a sudden, like, boy, he didn't even want to do it. And eventually he came out and one word answer that. And I could understand. I think he was a little shell-shocked because it was a game they could have won. But there is an excitement to it, and there is an unpredictability to it, and I think that's probably the why we love it so much.
I teach a sports broadcasting class at UNLV.
Oh, cool.
So I have a bunch of juniors and seniors that are looking to come into our world and take our jobs. But what's a piece of advice you've gotten during your career, either when you were on the way up or later on, that really resonated with you, that you have kept in your memory?
Yeah, there's so many parts to that, and I'm glad that they are teaching and that you're teaching classes. I've done some for different schools, media classes, sports media, some question and answer with some of the students. I wrote a book last year called That Deserves a Wow.
Okay.
And I would highly recommend, because it has a lot of broadcast, especially sports, a lot of broadcast stuff in it along my journey that I think people can relate to. It's and you can also get the audio book.
Good.
HarperCollins has it. That deserves a wow. But I would say some of the basic things to start are the things you would apply to any job. You gotta get along with people, be on time. And my thing was always do more than the job requires. And I say that because when you start out in broadcasting, you might be getting coffee for somebody, then you get on the air, and if you do a little more, you're going to get more opportunities, and then you can find your lane. Some people want to be on the air. Maybe they're not good enough so they can be a producer. Some people want to be a producer, but then they find out, I like being on the air. Or you can be a researcher. And now there's so many more ways with social media. But the big breakthrough, I think, and it was I started in radio, and I could tell you that story if we have a chance, but I think internships are really the key. And lean on and now even high school they have operated, but college, as soon as you can get into an internship and really take that seriously, that's your best hands-on training. To get into the real world of broadcasting, and not just follow your passion, but follow your talent too. And you have to recognize that your passion may be being on but your talent might be some other part of that. So make sure you keep those two in line.
Okay, that's awesome, because I want to pick up on that, because I'm a big passion guy, and I teach my students all the time about following your passion. And sometimes the path is going to be winding.
Right.
It's not going to be linear.
Right.
You're not going to go get your job. You got to go do other things sometimes. So follow your talent is a really interesting twist. That's the first time that I've heard that.
Yeah, and I thought of that along the way, and I've heard someone say it in another line of business. And that talent, you not only do you have to recognize it, but you have to make sure, whether it's your teacher or your employer, somebody recognizes it to help you get that. For me, I was behind the scenes, and I was on radio, but they said the voice, you got to do some of the. So I made sure I worked, used my voice, which naturally I was blessed with. So I didn't take lessons of it. I was born the doctor, I was a baby. A doctor slapped. I said, "Don't do that again." He's like, "Wow, where did that voice come from?" So, but I think that's something as you teach your students and get them to think about that. I had to think about that through my path, because I wanted to be on network TV, but it was like, well, how do I get there? I'm just a radio guy in Miami. You're trying out a small station, and then you find along the way, and that's the part about getting along with people and doing more. People are like, oh boy, this guy really hustles. Maybe he can fill in and help us on TV over here when he's not doing radio. So that's how you kind of create those opportunities. And I really do enjoy. If you ever want me to, and I'll make you this offer because I'm out in California, but to either Zoom or come on with your class, I'd love to take questions from them, and because
we're going to connect.
We'll do that.
I'm going to take you up on it.
I think that's important. It influenced. They didn't have the classes like that for me, but I did learn from a lot of people, and I always like to give back to the broadcast community.
Okay, that's phenomenal. I'll take you up on it. How did you get out of the radio bubble, if you will? Being somebody that was seen as a voice, radio, but you wanted to do television. Yeah, the local station in Miami, the local TV station, saw me. I was kind of a part-time. I was working weekends, still in high school at this point. Then but saw me going to other press conferences and getting sound bites and hustling, which is really kind of, if you love something, you don't mind doing it, right? It's not work. So they said, hey, could you, if we get in a pinch, could you help out, on our TV side? And I said, well, yeah. They said, well, we just need to put you on camera at some point. So I went to my college class and sat at a desk, and it was, kind of a makeshift thing where I read some highlights and I showed them the tape, and they said, oh, we think you can do that. And then they hired me when I was still in college. It's in Miami to be on TV on weekend sports. So it was a major breakthrough, but I think and they had heard me on the radio, so they knew that I had a passion, but they saw a talent in me that maybe I wasn't sure that I had it yet to be on TV. And then, of course, you have to stay, once you're in the business, even if it's radio, TV, YouTubing, you have to be adaptive and stay updated on things, whether it's the look or the style. Not that you have to change who you are, right? But the coverage and the way you bring it to the audience, you have to make sure you stay connected.
Yeah, you went back and said that you're a fan first kind of thing. Has there been any moments where you've been doing a call, and whether it's a team that you've heavily followed or anything like that, where a moment of excitement sort of got you or caught you by surprise in that instance?
Yeah, there were a few where I almost want to say, like a cuss word kind of thing, like, because the team, and you try to go into a game unbiased, but if some coaches or teams are just, they treat you like a jerk, you can't help human nature. But on the air, I have to call it. I'm thinking, I hope those guys lose if they're going to treat people that way. So that's the one thing that's the hard part as a fan, to remove something from your. But you once the mic comes on, you pretty much channel it, just like you don't slip into saying something you'd say to your buddy, like, where you might, a curse word might slip out or something like that you wouldn't want going on the air. I love that human element of it, but I do think to your question, it's very important to still keep that emotion. So I try to, when the team, I jump back and forth with each team to try to be the fan of that team during the game. So I give them equal attention. Funny part is, especially gamblers, but when we do a game and a team loses, right away you'll hear from them on social media. You suck. You said this, and you should have been. They know more about
bias.
the team that I'm like, I don't control the officiating. I'm just calling it. I can't. But I understand, because I was a fan like that once too, to that degree. And when you're betting and there's money involved, it gets even. Which is why I will say the NFL has to continue to embrace technology, and everything should be reviewable. And get it right. We can't have like that Buffalo Denver. You gotta, and if you're going to do it, then explain it. And sometimes say, well, we didn't see exactly who recovered the football, but we saw at the last moment this happened. Be as transparent as you can, because we're all seeing it, and we now have the technology to do it the right way.
Yeah. How much do you go back and listen to yourself? Obviously your voice is incredible, so it's probably fun to listen to, but like, everyone who's a broadcaster, we're all in some way nutcases.
Yeah.
How much self-critique do you give to yourself with your calls?
Yeah, and it's a little bit like show business or entertainment, even though we're not actors, right? But they used to tease me when I was in local TV after the 11 o'clock news doing sports. Everybody else would be going home except the late night assignment. And I'd be in there rewatching that right after I did it. And I would have my script and notes and the sports, and I would grade. I would go through, like, it would be little stuff like, boy, the toss, I was looking in the wrong direction, or, I wasn't dressed, my hair was a little sloppy there, or on this highlight, I didn't have enough energy, almost to the point, and I don't want to lose who I naturally am,
right.
But I found ways, and now when I work with ex-players who come into the booth, or, whether it's auto racing or whatever, I encourage them. You don't have to do it all the time. I was a little obsessive, but when you have time, watch it back and watch it as a viewer, and then watch it as yourself. Each way, and you'll find a good balance there, because you can overcompensate and you want to be natural, but also I got to think of the guy at home or the viewer at home. How do they feel about what's being said, or is there a reference? Is there a time to be funny? A time, to keep it moving. So I used to do that a lot. Now, as you reach a certain stage where I don't do it as often, but I still will go back and do it. Sometimes, like my wife says, I get tired of hearing you. Can we put something else on? I'm like, all right, I'll go in the other room.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I've not watched a single one of my podcasts.
Are you serious?
Really?
Whenever you come on, I watch us right away.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I watch us.
But you don't want to lose your naturalness, right?
No, but I do know at times when I come off the show or something, I go, I was talking way too quick, or I was losing the spot like that. So I may have to go back and just try and pick up a few things here and there.
Yeah, your style is very slow. I'm a high energy guy anyway, but sometimes I have to. Yeah, I have to do the thing. I'll go back. Man, I'm talking too fast. I got to make sure people can at least hear what I'm saying. What am I hurrying about? But it is something good to do. I think it's important for even after doing a Super Bowl, watching an interview, like, boy, I could have. Sometimes in the moment, it's tough to change your thought. But when I'm interviewing Tom Brady, I should have said this. But,
right.
You do the best you can. And that's where that preparation comes in. But nothing beats. And that's what I love about whether it's radio, the live instinctive. there's going to be some stumbles, some moments. We're all human. But if you prepare and you love what you do, and you always think of the audience, even in terms of asking questions, think of them first. I think you're going to be okay.
Internally, you mentioned Brady. Internally, how have you seen Tom improve as a broadcaster? Because I think in year one, as someone in the business, I'm the same age as Tom. I went, I don't know if this is going to go.
Yeah.
And then in year two, I saw him and went, okay, Tom's got it.
Well, first I saw in production, sitting with him in meetings for Super Bowls and big games, I saw this kind of perfectionist, detailed. He knew his craft as a player, offenses. I watched guys in the past, great ones like John Elway, Joe Montana, try to transition to broadcasters. They didn't have it. They didn't want to do it.
Right.
They tried it. They didn't have the passion. But when he came into this, even with all his other ventures, he was devoted to doing this, had the right people around him. Give Fox credit for having excellent producers and guidance, and he really did work at it. And the key for him was what we're talking about. It goes back to the very basic things for your class. You got to be authentic in who you are, but you do have to think of the audience. So he might see three things on a play and be technical, but has to only mention one of those so the audience can understand. And he first of all, he's great to be around. He really has been a team player with us. I can see why he led his teams with success, and I think he's going to continue to get better. But he explained some great things in that championship game about the receiver and throwing the ball and the wind and that other game that I think were very helpful, and kind of told you who he was.
Tell me about Revive, because they're going ahead and telling me you
Yes.
got to go. So tell me about Mueller and the
Okay.
Revive system.
Well, Nike has the slogan, just do it. This is just Revive. And I wouldn't just talk about this if I didn't use it myself. And they have had it in training rooms and with professional athletes for years. Now it's been more available to the public in the last few years. I tried one. I use it. My wife uses it. So whether you're somebody who jogs, runs, or just somebody who travels a lot or has aches and pains, you can get this home unit. There's 2 different versions. Go to MuellerRevive.com, and it does help you recover from fatigue. It reduces pain in your leg, and importantly, circulation, too, if you don't get out and walk enough, or if you walk too much. There's a couple of cycles. You can raise the level of intensity you want, and it's something that and they have other products, Mueller Sports Medicine. They have Quench Gum for dehydration if you're out in hot weather. They have simple things for wrists and ankles that if you have aches and pains for headaches, something that you can put on your head at night that help with a headache if you don't want to take various aspirin. So I highly recommend this. It's something I use. My wife, my family uses it as well. And they have an award they're giving out to the top college athlete. It's the first comeback player from an injury, Revive Award. They'll give them NIL as male or female, any sport in college sports, and they'll build a Revive Center actually at that school. And they already have some of these centers in University of Miami has a couple of them. The Hurricanes had a great season. So it's important to not only top athletes, but the regular guy who or girl who has aches and pains.
Chris, thank you for the time. Really appreciate it.
I enjoyed it.
I'm at UNLV. I'll be in touch.
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Talk to your class. We'll see
For
you.
sure. That's Chris Myers joining us from Fox Sports here. Thanks to our friends at MuellerRevive.com. You can go visit MuellerRevive.com or go to ReviveAward.com here for that. Very cool. Cool to get him on the program. Thank you very much. And we're going to go to thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. Next up will be Devin Hester, the man, the myth, the speed, the guy who broke everyone's heart by doing what you bookmakers thought couldn't do. He took the opening kickoff of a Super Bowl and ran it back for a touchdown. Was that a good result or bad result?
I can't remember. For some reason, I think it was a good one. One, you collect all the money of first touchdown, it's not on that. But yeah, it's
Devin Hester, the one and only, joining us here on the Bostonian versus the book. Devin, I'm Matt. That's Adam. Thank you for coming in. How are you? I love the jacket. It looks phenomenal on you.
Appreciate it so much, guys. Thanks for having me.
What's this like for you? Is this too much? Is this fun? What's it like to be Devin Hester walking around here on Media Row?
It's a little bit of both. It's too much, and it's fun at the same time. But I think for me, more as a player, I get a more excitement and joy when I see a lot of my peers, my old teammates, guys I had rivals with in the football game and things like that. Pretty much all among the great athletes. You know what I mean? So it's always a great honor to be in a room full of us at one time.
I mean, in your era when you were playing, you really changed how people were kicking the ball to the returner. I recall those days. Again, I was in the midst of my betting, bookmaking of when you were playing whatnot in that Super Bowl. What did you enjoy most about returning the ball and having those opportunities, and obviously, again, changing the game in that position?
It was a situation where I always loved the simple fact that this is a game changer. You could change it in a bad way, or you could change it in a good way. And I was always the type of player where I was always living on the wild side. I did all the crazy things, you know what I mean? From flipping off a house when I was 8 years old to swimming in a lake full of alligators. So that's just what I did, So I was always on the wild side and looking for a great opportunity. And this was one of the most deadly and scariest position you can ever play in football, is sitting back there filling the punt where you got guys running scot-free down the field ready to take your head off.
On the flip side, though, they had to kick it to you. So while you might be afraid about what's coming at you, they were afraid to kick it to you because of what you could do with the ball in your hands. Where did the confidence come from that you, when you touched the football, basically thought, I'm going to the house every time?
I just, as a kid growing up, I always felt I was faster than everybody. I always felt if it was just me and this guy in front of me, there's no way he was going to make the tackle. I got interviewed earlier today, and it was always thinking about, I asked him the question is, how was I feeling when I had a guy in front of me trying to make a miss? And I was like, he wasn't the person I was worried about. I was worried about the person behind him.
Right.
So in essence, I the first guy I felt wasn't a factor. It was always me looking past him, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do to that guy behind him.
Yeah, I mean, the game has changed so much over the years. For me, I think the return game is a huge piece that's missing. I think a lot more enjoyable 20 years ago, whatnot. How do you see it and how it's structured today? And do you really miss seeing the ability of having returners do what you did?
To be honest, I love the new rule.
Really?
Okay.
I love it. And then if you watch the game, it's almost like a punt return,
Okay.
right? And so, in essence, you only have to make one guy miss,
And you're going.
and it's a hole. If you hit the hole, it's no second wave.
Right.
So, I felt deep down inside, honestly, if I was playing this, they would have restructured this rule within the next 2 years. I mean,
Really?
Yeah, most definitely.
How many touchdowns could you have in this new rules?
They gotta kick it to you. So you know what I mean. Think about my first 2 years where they was kicking it to me.
Yeah.
Imagine them kicking it to me like that for the whole 11 years, and then you accumulate how many touchdowns you feel like I would have.
So if you were coaching the returners of today, what would the tips or the one or two tips you'd be giving them right now?
I would always find the weakest link on the team.
Okay.
And that's where our returns will be going.
Are you learning the weakest link on film? Are you learning it in warm-ups? Like, how do you learn which guy you're going to go attack?
Film don't lie.
Okay.
Right? So when you're watching film, you're going to always find a guy that's always jumping out his lane or a guy that's just pouring tackling. And that's the guy, me as a coach, I would use that blocker to block a guy that I feel makes all the tackles. So we would double team the best tackler, leave that guy free. But see, I don't want these coaches stealing my tips because then, it's going to eliminate my opportunity to get a job.
I hear you. Let's talk college for a second because you guys, obviously, you're a Florida kid, played at Miami. They go to the national championship game. I'm really impressed with the alumni that you guys, how tight you guys seem. When you played at the U, it feels like you're brothers for life. Is that fair?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Whenever you see two University of Miami guys in the same building or walk in the building, it's just a different bond. Even when we in Canton, Ohio, and we meet up at the Hall of Fame, we have our own table.
Wow.
And we have guys begging to sit at our table. So, in essence, man, the relationship and the bond that we built there is like no other. We're always the center of attention. And you would know from the start, those are the you guys. Most definitely.
When people talk about you as the greatest returner, what part of game do they think that they may have overlooked that you've participated as well? Like, is it just you're returner? You're just known for that. But
what part of your game do we not talk about enough?
I would say not only return side of the ball, but people don't realize how special I was with just the ball in my hand.
As a wideout.
And so in that situation, that would never be known. We would never.
You did have
know.
16 receiving touchdowns. I think people would be kind of surprised to learn that stat of like you're known for the punt return, kickoff return touchdowns,
right?
And obviously the Super Bowl return for a touchdown. But the receiving touchdowns are pretty good as well. At 16, that's pretty good.
Right, most definitely. But I honestly feel deep down inside that in the right position, the right situation, it could have been far more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you wanted more of an opportunity to play that.
Yeah, I to be honest, I feel like I underachieved.
Okay. Even though you have a gold jacket on.
Even though I got a gold jacket, I feel like and a lot of players probably gonna feel like that, but
okay.
I truly deep down inside feel like I underachieved when it came to NFL as well as college.
Was that you? Was that scheme? Was that quarterback play? What caused that?
It was a little bit of everybody.
Okay.
Everybody had a part. I had a part. Coaching and scheme had a part of it. And so, like I said, it would never be known what type of person I am.
Right.
But me personally, I feel like I underachieved of my career.
How many times have you watched the Super Bowl return?
Yours.
This week or just
how many times?
I guess it pops up a lot because it's an anniversary. Every year, you know what I mean, they bring it up the day of the return. And so I think it happened like 2 days ago was the anniversary.
Yep.
And so it's just on social media, I just got so many tags about it. So I watched it a ton of times in like the last 2 days. But sitting back at home watching it, it probably pops up maybe twice a month, 3 times a month.
All right, and taking that one out of the calculation, is there another return that you just remember very fondly?
Probably had to be my rookie year. We played the Arizona Cardinals with the Coach Green.
Yep.
Situation where we came back and won the game, and I ran the punt back against those guys to take the lead. That one there is probably like got to be in the top 3.
Did you ever shake your head when you saw the ball, like they're kicking to me? Do you ever go like, I can't believe they're giving me this chance? Like they're actually going to give me a chance to go and return this ball?
I don't know if I shook my head, but it was a surprise. it was very a surprise because when we talked about it all week in special team, it was yay, no, maybe, not sure. You know what I mean? So we didn't have a true answer whether or not they was going to kick it to us until like maybe the day of the game, where it's like it's a strong possibility that they're going to kick it. And so other than that, it was just unknown throughout the whole week of the Super Bowl.
You're a Florida kid who played in Chicago. They're talking about building a dome in Chicago. Did you hate the cold? Did you get used to playing in the cold?
That's a question. If you ever had an opportunity to ice cold Levy, he gonna tell you that I had. It was a big transaction. Like I had to get a huge transaction. I had to get used to the cold. I never seen snow in my life until I got to Chicago. And so you talking about a kid born and raised in Florida. First time seeing snow, like it was a snowstorm coming the night of. And so we had an announcement in the meeting the day before saying, hey, for all you younger guys, the rookies, listen, when it's snow outside, give yourself a little extra time to drive there, right? So I'm like, man, so make a long story short, I was the first one at the facility.
Oh,
like I was there with the janitors. And it was like, man, they made me wake up 2-3 hours early. It's pitch dark.
And there's no snow yet.
And I'm sitting in the parking lot like, man. And so, but other than that, another story. When it got cold my rookie year, you can testify to all the players that played with Chicago. I didn't practice outside. I was the only player in the bubble.
Really?
From late October, November, I practiced in the bubble the rest of the year, my rookie year. I was the only player in the bubble while everybody else was outside practicing. I just couldn't do it. So I would be the only one. Me and 2 other coaches were Ball Boy and me and Coach Dave Toad. We would be in the bubble just practicing.
So before they're telling me to wrap it up, but tell me about Crunch Time Hero, the Southern Recipe Small Batch. What are you doing with these guys?
So it's a great cause. Mike Dicker came up with the situation. A lot of retired players, when it comes to the NFL, after the first 5 years of retirement, you lose your insurance, and so they don't cover it. And so this was a great cause where he came up with a way to raise money for the retired players that's struggling with financial insurance and things like that, to raise funds to help out and give back to those guys that's in need. And so when I sat back and we talked about it, and it was a great cause for a lot of players, and I thought, I could, if I can help out and benefit in any kind of way I can, I would do it. And that's why we are here today.
Phenomenal. Thank you, Devin Hester. Appreciate your time, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Take care. We will be, hold on, I'll fix it real quick.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. As I said, this is going to be like an old school live stream where we're going to have to get up and do different things. So, Eric, are we fixed on that? Oh, I got to add it. Hold on, let me fix that. I'll fix it so we can get it back in there for us with that. There we go. Okay, we're back. So thank you very much to Devin Hester. Okay, there we go. We fixed it. Somebody stepped on our camera cord. So that knocked off. So at the end of the Devin Hester interview, it was just us. There was no Devin Hester. So his audio is still working, but there was no Devin Hester there. So I thought your questions to him were phenomenal. I thought that was really an interesting answer he gave.
I'm getting into the groove.
I like it.
I was nervous coming.
Now you're comfortable?
Like it's easy, on the other side, and then at Prime Suspects, it's recorded, and I know they do some little touch-ups, but Like
This
I've
is
gotten
live.
into this.
This is live. This is live, man. We'll do it live. This is all live stuff. So that was really fun. Cameron Dicker, Devin Hester, Chris Myers so far have been tremendous. If you guys missed anything, okay. You want me to move the camera over a little bit, Eric? Is that what you want me to do? To the left? That's yes. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he wants us to. Adam's going to move it over a little bit. Go ahead and put that up. That camera right there. You want it to be perfect. There we go. Thank you. Good job. Yes, we moved that over a little bit. There we go. So there we go. Yeah, you Bears fans. Frank from Rabbit, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for being here. We'll do down the rabbit hole here in a little bit here on the program. So good to see you in the chat. As coming up here, let me look at the schedule here for who we are scheduled to have, because this is just going to be drinking out of a type of day. Chris Myers, the voice of Chris Myers is just, I could listen to him read the phone book. He's tremendous.
The minute he spoke, it's there
yeah.
we go.
Like, who's Chris Myers? Oh, Chris Myers. That's Chris Myers. Okay. But that's, I mean, him to offer to speak to my class was that was amazing to him to be able to do that. So I very much appreciate that. Let's see. Still on the docket. You guys are watching us live. Again, here we will have Shawne Merriman is scheduled here in 15 minutes. Keith Bulluck is scheduled in 30. Tyrod Taylor here in about 45. Donovan McNabb, excuse me. Donovan Mitchell would be fun. If that was Donovan Mitchell, it'd be great to get his take on his new teammate. That'd be fun. Donovan McNabb. And then Troy Franklin from the Denver Broncos, who I cannot wait. We're ending the show with Troy Franklin, and I cannot wait to talk to Troy Franklin of the Denver Broncos. That's going to be a phenomenal conversation to talk with him. But I think one thing that's so interesting about this setup is that you get to talk to guys that you ask the right question, and they'll give you an answer that they haven't really said before.
Right.
Like Hester telling us that he played in a bubble. He sat in the bubble and he didn't like to come out of the bubble for his whole rookie year is like, how do you do that? You played in Chicago.
Right.
You can't sit in the bubble your whole rookie year.
Yeah, and then for to be separated, everyone's out training, and
you're in the bubble.
It's like
because you couldn't handle it
as a rookie. I mean, that could have been tough.
Right. Well, I mean, he come in. I mean, he was a guy who was expected to do big things. Obviously, he did do big things. 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns, 14 punt returns for touchdowns. A Pro Bowler 4 different times, and Hall of Famer. There was a lot of talk. I mean, that's why I asked him about the jacket, because there was a talk that he wasn't going to get in. Right. And he was 100% a Hall of Famer to me. Like, that's like I use Hester or other people in as a barometer for Hall of Fame. I don't need to know his stats. I just know, were you one of the best to be in the game?
And did you change the game? Was there more? I mean,
yeah.
They didn't kick to him.
Right.
Like, for that,
you were afraid to kick to him. They were petrified to kick to him. And then the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl, you're like, oh, they kicked to him. There's no way. Oh. And then, bam, he returns it for a touchdown. You're like, oh, my God, they kicked it to him. And so, like, those moments where you live in infamy, you live in history, you live in, like, everyone remembers that game. Like, you sit down, it's like, it's 7-0. How is it 7-0 already? Our opening kickoff. And we have not seen it since.
Right.
And I don't think we'll see it. I thought it was interesting when you asked him about the new rules.
Yeah, no, that was fascinating. I'm actually glad he answered it that way, because now I think it's going back to look at these games a little differently and try and see where these holes are. Because I thought there was no holes. I thought that game was over. For him to look at it and say, if I was playing today, I would just
dominate,
like
more than he did. See, name the number of touchdowns I would get. He said, he goes, I would love to play in these rules, which is really not what I thought. He would say.
It'd be complete opposite. So again, I want to go back and kind of look at these games and try and spot these holes. Me and a friend who passed during COVID have always talked about, if we got an NFL team,
right,
we'd be great coaches, because we believe we'd be 4th down guys before they started doing the 4th down.
Okay,
There'd be no punting on our team. Just little different things.
Would you carry a punter?
You'd have, yeah. I mean, you'd have one, but it'd be more an Aussie rule style guy that can do the drop punt, do a little bit different things like that. But you watch so many games, and you obviously, we're out of our minds thinking that we could actually do it. Yeah. But just sort of seeing these different aspects of it, thinking, why are they doing this? And these conversations were 20 years ago. Before now, they're all analyzing the data and all these things to
crunching
go for
everything,
it.
Right? Yeah.
But as bettors, bookmakers, lines makers, we're second guessing everything
Yep.
that they do at times.
Yep.
And then when you sort of go back to it and go, oh, it was the right call. But there's that, as a bettor and a bookmaker, I'm still very much looking at it and a feel guy, a momentum guy. I know what the data is. I know what the data says, but I still feel there's momentum in all the different
absolutely.
sports.
Eric's telling me you got to move your mic closer. There we go. He's good. There we go.
And to me, that's kind of the same thing. Like some of the coaches, I guess, are getting so much into the data and losing their gut instinct.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that, right? There is this overwhelming push to analytics, and you can make a case that that's why Sean Payton went for fourth down, right? Went for it in the AFC Championship game because analytically, you're supposed to go and score a touchdown there,
right?
Not a field goal. If he had taken the field goal, Denver might be sitting here, not the Patriots. So, like, there is maybe an overcorrection going on here when it comes to the analytics. But I do like the analytical side of things. I do like that the analytical part of the game is here, but there are certain coaches that maybe go too far.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in that spot, I was thinking,
take the points.
Take the points.
Take the points.
Make it a 2-score game.
Yeah.
Yes, you can crush it.
It was a kill shot. He went for the kill shot and missed. That's
Yeah.
what it was. 14-0, the game's over.
And that's why they're back home.
Yep. He went forward and missed. And if I'm a coach, I can live with that.
Correct.
But that's not what he said. Look back and he said, if I do it again, I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
Which I don't like that. I think if you make the decision in the moment, like I talk about this a lot on this show and other shows, but there's a great book by Annie Duke called Thinking in Bets, where basically it's about the decision you make, not the outcome.
Yes.
How did you get to the decision? And if you got to the decision in an analytically sound way and the outcome just didn't go your way, well, that's life, right?
And that's where it comes down in the betting world.
Yes.
Like, you make the decision, you get on your side, you're looking at it, all the reasons why, okay, I didn't win this one. Was it sound reasoning? Yes. Go back to the well, go for it again. Okay. Win or lose the next one. And that's kind of one of the toughest things in this game is it's heavyweight fight. Get up from the
Right.
knockdowns. And that's
Well, I think I spend a lot of time talking off air to people in the media space or in the business space about sports gamblers. And they're all trying to do the same thing. They're all trying to figure out how to be the next great big thing in sports betting. And I keep on coming back to the idea of until the public understands that you're trying to throw 10 darts and hit 6 bullseyes.
Yes.
That's the whole game. You're just trying to hit one more than 5 because your chances are going to hit 5 just on a coin flip. You just close your eyes and throw. Can you hit 6? And if you hit 6, you're going to be making money, but you're still losing 40% of the time.
Correct.
That doesn't equate with people right now in America. People just don't understand about the number and the volume and the necessary bets you have to make over a long period of time. It's all about the 1-2 parlays you're going to play on a Tuesday or Wednesday in the NBA. Or it's all about trying to find a way to bet, a 6-leg money line parlay on Sunday. That's just not the way that this is going to happen in America. And until the U.S. gambler understands that principle, I think we're a ways away from having an educated sports betting public.
No, 100%. And I come into this thinking it was going to be a lot easier than it is. For me, I'm probably lifetime 25 to 30% strike rate.
Okay.
Because I'm a horse guy.
Okay.
I'm a futures guy.
Okay.
I've hit things at 100 to 1, 80 to 1, 40 to 1.
But hitting those is pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm not looking to hit 53, 55%. To me, that's a grind playing those, day in, day out games.
Right.
I'm looking for the, 3 to 1, 5 to 1, 10 to 1 consistently coming.
Well, the edges, right? You're looking for where you see
edges.
value.
I'm looking for edges anywhere.
Yeah.
But the one thing, if I do find an edge at 3's on one, minus 300, I'm not playing it. If I think it should be minus 500 and it's I'm not touching those things. I'll live through this enough to understand that doesn't work. I'd much rather swing for the fences on a 20 to 1 shot, 25 to 1 shot, because I'm not expected to win, and it's sort of a little bit.
Well, I mean, this game is a clear example of that, right? If you believed in the Seahawks, you could have gotten 60 to 1 early. If you believed in the Patriots, you could have gotten as high as 80 to 1 or 90 to 1 on the Patriots. So I think most people, if you had said in August you were betting the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, you would say you're a Patriot fan and a homer. And this is not a very wise bet.
Yep.
There are people out there who are sitting on some significant tickets that I think we talked about this before, but from a bookmaking perspective, this is a dream matchup. These are 2 super long shots that nobody was betting. All the favorite money goes in your pocket.
Well, coming into this, the last 4 teams were all winners to win the Super Bowl.
That's amazing. That's a dream, right?
Yeah.
It's a bookmaker. You're like, good. Whoever wins, I don't care.
The money was already put in the pocket.
Yeah,
Cashed out.
That's tremendous.
Get ready to pay those ones that won when it comes around. But yeah, I rarely do you ever see a book like that. And this was just the last 4 teams. As I was looking at the charts, like, oh, they're all 7-figure winners. Great.
It works. I think one thing that people, and not so much our audience, I think the Brigade, just because of the time that Dave and I have spent talking about the business and talking about gambling in general, about how you're supposed to approach this and the mindset you're supposed to have. I just hope that if we do talk about gambling, advertising, we reel it in and like how much you can advertise on games or whatnot, is that people start to just shy away from those crazy parlays, because look, it's not fun one step in front of the other. I understand it's way more fun to race and bet $5 and show the ticket on Twitter that you hit for 1,000. I understand that, but it just, that mentality is why we're sitting here today and people are pointing at sports gambling saying this is dangerous. It's like, well, it's kind of, it's what do you do? How do you handle it? That's my frustration, because there's a responsible way of, I gave an interview this morning to a newspaper, and the reporter was not trying to get me to say something, but he was trying to talk about how, like, people who are going to bet irresponsibly on the Super Bowl, like, people bet irresponsibly, like trying to feed me these lines. And I'm like, this is what people think is going to happen on Sunday. Yeah. Like the public is going to run off a cliff and bet way more than they're supposed to. And that's not what we should want as a public. We should want people to be educated in all of this and understand, there's a risk involved, but there are ways of minimizing that.
Yeah, and I think that, the sad thing is, you have the CEOs of FanDuel, DraftKings saying they want to hold like 30%.
Yeah.
Well, that's irresponsible, but no one's calling them out on that
because no one knows that. Business, but only you know that, because you're like, hold on a second, I can tell you why that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just it's the struggle of kind of educating the American system and everyone sort of knowing what it was, and then us growing up in the UK, Australia, where it's just sort of that different culture of how we learned it.
I think everyone's wondering, like, what inning are we in for the education? I still think we're like in the second or third inning for American education. Like, we're still really in the beginning part
100%
of getting people up to speed. Yeah. And I don't know if it's going to be my daughter's generation or her children's generation. I don't know how long it takes to get people to fully understand this, but like, we are constantly hearing that the government's going to, there's a law that got placed about New York betting today about trying to limit prop betting, that they're trying to go back now and say that we're back in this argument that prop bet's dangerous.
Yeah. Prop betting is going to exist. We've seen already with the Cleveland Guardians, pitchers, Jonte Porter, it's good things that these have been caught and found out. You take away prop betting, it goes back to the gray market, because it's not going away.
Black. It's black.
And the gambling ads things, I actually support that. Like, go easier on it. Don't have it. Australia's already done it where, they can't do it in sporting events and half times and stuff like that. I don't think it needs to be plastered everywhere like it is.
Breaking news. Eric, there's a breaking news stinger. If you want to hit it, we can break the news to Adam, because I think he's probably going to be there in person for this. I don't know. Do you want me to find it? I can find it. I don't know if I have the power to play it. Let's see if I have the power to play it. Hold on. I do. Sorry. The NFL is headed to Melbourne.
So I was figuring that was the thing, because when you walk straight in this front door, you've got Melbourne coffee. And then you got a couple of kangaroos and penguins and whatnot around the corner.
I didn't pick up on that.
So I figured
I thought that was for the World Cup. I thought that was like a World Cup reference. I was like, because all the World Cup mascots are here.
Yeah, and then
so I thought it was a World Cup thing.
And then yesterday I come across a Sharon, and I tweeted this morning. A Sharon is an Australian rules football.
Oh, I seen that thing being thrown around.
It's made out of kangaroo leather.
Oh my!
The smell of that is like new car smell.
Okay.
And I come across one yesterday, and I went over to their table and I picked it up and I smelt it, and the guy said, "Oh, it's been a while." And I said, "Yeah, about 10 years." And because we know the smell of a brand new Sharon that you used to get on Christmas morning or something like that. So
very cool.
Okay.
So according to Eric, the Rams and let's see what he said. The Rams and the 49ers. Wow, a divisional game.
Do we know when or?
We don't know the schedule yet, so we can't know when. But
So
I guess maybe they could though, because they announced when they gave the Paris game, they said when the Saints are going to play in that game. So I don't know. Maybe we do. Eric, if you can find that as or the chat, you guys find out when we're going to play that game for Melbourne. You can hit it again, by the way, if you want, Eric. Hit the breaking news again because there is. I was dead wrong. The Tigers, after yesterday paying Framber Valdez, they do today paid to Rick Skubal. He is going to be kept for the Tigers, $32 million a year. The chat has not said how many years yet, but the Tigers are going to pay Skubal, not trade him, which is huge, to be quite honest, to have that happen. The guy behind me that's making all that noise, we'll sit down here in just 1 second. He's Shawne Merriman, the former Charger. Lights Out Merriman's going to be joining us here for 2 years. 2 years? They signed Skubal for 2 years, and he agreed to that? Why would he left? He wants to be a Tiger. That's what that tells me, that he's willing to do anything to be a Tiger, because that's some serious money that's on the table. Kyle Tucker got $60 million a year. Terry Skubal's the best pitcher in the game. What are we doing? Best pitcher in the game. Wow. How about that? Tiger fans in the chat are happy. You guys should be happy. You've got your stud pitcher. Now you have Framber Valdez and you have Terry Skubal. Now you've got that's a rotation. Now they're going to be, my God, left-handed hitters are going to have a tough time seeing the ball, let alone hitting the ball coming up for the Tigers. So there's your two breaking news stories. Will you go to the Melbourne game?
Well, so I have been invited multiple times by our data company to go to the Brazil game.
Okay.
And I have not gone.
Now?
I asked them for tickets for this game,
Okay.
and they said they'll put me on the short list for 2027. So I haven't been home for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So as good as reason as any for me to reach out to Genius Sports and say, hey, all right, it's time to go home. Good as reason as any.
Wow.
So that's why I'm keen to find out what the date is to see if I can start
schedule
squeezing this into my
schedule it in your schedule to make sure you have it. So we can't find the date, but it might be week 1.
Well,
so the Brazil game, it's going to be the Melbourne game.
Well, that actually works perfectly.
Okay.
So I turned 50 on September the 11th.
Look at you.
And
You're
there's
2
been-
years ahead of me, or one and a half years ahead of me. I turned 49.
Yeah,
in
been
April.
conversations that maybe, need to make a trip back home.
Hell
something
yeah.
Like that, pack up
To a
the
game
kids,
like
everything.
that?
Like,
Rams-Niners is a good game.
that's a great game.
It's a good game. That's a game. Take that and go. Where are they going to play in Melbourne, do you think?
Oh, MCG or
Okay.
maybe the new stadium, which new stadium was 25 years ago. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Telstra Stadium or whatever the hell it's called these days.
Right. That's remarkable. So now we got games in Paris, Australia, the UK, Germany, and are we going to Spain this year?
I'm not sure, but I'm thinking about the time zone and the travel zone. That's a tough one.
Sean, how are you? Adam, Matt, you can throw that headset on. It's the cricket grounds.
Oh, the MCG. Perfect.
MCG, there you go. So we're just talking. The NFL just announced that they're going back to Melbourne. He's from Australia, so
Yeah.
So you got an NFL game happening in his home country in the Rams and the 49ers. Shawne Merriman joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Great to see you. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, good to see you.
I just watched really weirdly. I just watched the episode of Entourage when you were on it. like literally before I knew you were coming on.
Really?
I just watched it. I was like, I'm going to be talking to him. Do you still act much? Do you like that? How did that experience come to be?
It was so Doug Ellen, who
Yeah.
one of the creators
Yep.
of Entourage, is a good friend of mine, and coincidentally enough, that episode you saw was about a team going
Yes.
to LA.
Correct. Yep.
A team went to LA, and in that whole episode, I was supposed to be like the first player that they go with,
Right.
and so that ended up happening, which is crazy. Jerry Jones was in that episode. I mean, a lot of Aquaman. I don't know if you remember, they were talking about Aquaman. Ended up being go
Oh,
back.
it's a movie. That's right. It was a documentary.
Go back and
That's
look.
right.
Go back and look at that episode to see how many things in that episode came to fruition that wasn't there yet.
That's true. Aquaman became a movie. That's right. LA team, you have 2. So LA team, new stadium downtown.
Exactly.
Happened downtown.
Yep.
For SoFi Stadium. That's crazy. It was almost like a projection.
It was like The Simpsons almost, right? It's like 2 or 3 more things. I can't think of the top of my head, but it was like 5 or 6 things that wasn't invented or available yet that all end up happening in that one episode.
Do you watch that back at all? Is that fun for you to go like that was me, or show people like that was me in Entourage?
No, not really, man. But people tell me all the time, and I know Jeremy Piven, he's a good friend of mine, and it's always a little scary when you're going to do stuff with those guys because they're so good.
Yeah.
They're so quick, and they can improv, and they can do different stuff. You're like, I got to go keep up with them, when you do it. So
Jerry wasn't bad in the episode, and then Jerry Jones on Landman, was ridiculous.
I mean, that might have been one of the greatest scenes
right?
ever.
Yeah.
And it was great.
I mean, you're a very aggressive defensive player. Do you think today's defenses are a little too cautious in the way they attack the game?
I'm not one of the older guys that call them everybody soft, right? I'm like, I just think that's very demeaning.
Yeah.
When you're talking about these young guys, I think that they're playing according to what the rules are.
Yeah.
If you know you can possibly get fined $25,000 for a hit, you're going to go in there a little bit different. Even at the running back position, if you lower the crown of your head too much, they can also find you for just running.
Yeah.
So I just think that the guys are playing according to what the rules are, not necessarily that the game is soft.
So from that, I mean, is there any of the rules that have been implemented or anything that are in there now that you just wish they'd either take away or change a little bit?
Well, yeah, I would like to, if they can put in tackling again, that'd be a big hit, right? Because it's so hard to, for example, if you're running full speed at somebody, that you can get your helmet out the way fast enough without injuring yourself. It's so quick. Everybody's sitting at home like, oh, that hit's illegal. On the field, you're like, what did I do wrong? This is a normal tackle for me. And I think that, just, protect the quarterbacks too much. Joe Flacco, I think, came out today or yesterday talking about just all the restrictions in hitting the quarterback now. He doesn't even like it as a quarterback. And so the game has definitely changed in that way.
So for me, the total this week on the game is really low, 45 and a half, which is showing up as a very defensive game. I actually think I'm sort of going to advise, ended up betting the over and saying there's going to be a lot of points in this game. How are you seeing this from a defensive standpoint?
I just don't see it being a shootout, only because the Patriots are not a shootout team.
Yeah.
And so if they did, they would break all betting odds that's ever happened because they just haven't been a shootout team. And we just saw Seattle have a pretty good shootout against the Rams. We've seen them have several shootouts during the season where they can score points. And so I just don't I don't see it being a shootout type of game.
But do they have the capability to chase? Because for me, I'm thinking Seattle can win this by a couple of touchdowns. If Seattle get up, do you Patriots have the opportunity or ability to chase?
No,
Okay.
They don't. And that's why I think the Seahawks are going to win plus 10.
Woo!
You're
one of them. Uh-oh.
Yeah, because I just
double-digit Seahawks.
And it's not, man, because I hated, everybody knew that I had my little gripes with the Patriots back in the day. It's not that at all. I was going to ask you about it. Yeah. It's
not biased at all?
No, it's not that at all. I just think that when you look at everything that Seattle can do, and I'm not just talking about offense, defense, I'm also special teams. They've been great on special teams.
That's why I like the over.
Yeah.
Special teams.
Yeah, and so when you look at that and just say that they go touchdown for touchdown, at some point Seattle can keep going.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
And the Patriots can't.
That's fair.
And I think that's what it's going to come down to.
That's very fair. Defensively, in today's game, is there anybody that you watch that say he plays like I do, like how I did, that you can see your game in the way they approach things? Any NFL linebackers that you look at like, okay, that guy can play like he was playing in my time. He can play.
I mean, there's still got like Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Fred Warner.
Yeah.
You look at the outside position, Khalil Mack, and the T.J. Watts of the world, Myles Garrett, obviously, and Micah Parsons. You still have guys that can play in any era, and they play the game the right way within the confines of what the NFL is now.
Do you think? I know you've gotten involved with MMA.
Yeah.
Should more football players either learn jiu-jitsu or learn some type of body MMA mixed martial arts to help them play the position? Would it help?
Yeah, I mean that's why I got into it.
Yeah.
I started working out with Randy Couture back in the early mid 2000s.
Another Entourage guy.
Yeah. And just learning how to use my hands and learn how to use my leverage and And that second year in 06, I came out and led the league in sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got so much better with my hand and leverage, being able to open my hips and turn the corner against those big offensive linemen. And I think that every guy should pick up some form of martial arts, something, or boxing, right? Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu is great.
Did you roll much, or what did you do?
I didn't say I was good at it. I just
doesn't
did
matter.
it. No.
I give everyone credit. You get on the mat. I give you credit just getting on the mat.
Yeah. No, well, then again, let me take that back, because a lot of guys who I was rolling with or sparring with were professionals.
Oh my, really?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I never really had a sparring match or anything against.
How much do you weigh more than them, or the same weight as you?
I always
heavyweights.
Yeah, I always wore a little bit more, but sometimes the 205 and the 215 guys are more tougher because they have they're big enough.
John Jones.
They're big enough to hurt you. Yeah. But light enough to make you tired. and that combination sometimes can be scary.
It's the one thing I always say to people, that jiu-jitsu is the one sport that, like, you don't really play it, you try to survive it, you can get killed. Literally, the whole idea of jiu-jitsu is to kill you.
Yeah.
It's self-defense, but it's to be able to take down someone who's attacking you, and it's the ultimate equalizer for size when you really learn jiu-jitsu. But that body movement helps you in so many other sports.
Oh, no joke. I mean, it's a crazy discipline, because you can have somebody half your size be a real big problem for you.
Your neck is your neck.
And trust me, I've been, I've sparred guys who were about 180 pounds, 175 pounds, who close to submitted me, where I was like, okay, just don't tell anybody about what just happened. I keep it between us. These guys half my size, but yeah, size definitely doesn't matter when you're talking about jiu-jitsu.
Quarterbacks, who would you like taking down the most?
Tom, for sure.
He's been on record saying that.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, because of the greatness of him, and what it meant to get to him, because you don't have a lot of chance to do that. And then also too, I was always told, if you want to be mentioned up there with the greatest players, you got to have great games against great players. And so, if you look at my career, the games, the multi-sack games against Peyton Manning, multi-sack games against Tom Brady, multi-sack games against, Ben Roethlisberger, all the great ones I had to get, because when they're playing their highlights 20 years from now on NFL films, I'm gonna be on them. So
when you saw Phillip Rivers, a guy you're tied to, obviously with draft day and whatnot in your careers, were you like, what is going on? Or were you like, maybe I could play? If Phillip could do it, why can't I go?
Well, it crossed my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you. But Phil's a different breed. Yeah. Like, he's a different person, and he's never been, his physical attributes was never what made him who he was.
Yep.
And to a lot of people, it's like, he's 44 years old. This is crazy. To us, me and everybody we play with, it's like, oh, that's just Phil. That's it. It doesn't make it's not crazy at all.
I mean, Tom played till he was mid-40s. Like, it's almost, it's unfair now, I think, when fans are like, well, this person did it or that person did it. We all should be able to do it. Well,
right.
You all can't do it.
No, and we all don't want to do it. Taking the cut block right now, my age, I'm not on pace.
Tom said if you gave him a month, he could be able to go and play an NFL, not a season, but go play NFL football.
I believe it.
How long for you? How long would you need to go play one game?
How many plays?
A game.
A whole game?
Yeah.
Never.
No.
No.
Never again?
No. Not for 60. A game for us was 50 plus plays.
Okay.
And I got about 20 in me.
All right.
So give me,
pretty good. You got a half a game in you.
Give me 5 plays a quarter, all pass rushes. All right. Third and long. I'm just going to get the quarterback. But if they play the run, good luck. So.
I mean, that's not impossible, though. I mean, if it's just lining up and going and getting the quarterback on 3rd and 8, and you know what's going to happen.
Right. Now I can do that.
Pin your ears back and go.
You can't mess that up.
How much offensive line do you watch games and go, that lineman's weak, that guy's weak, I can get
that
guy?
For sure. I still do. And so it takes a good year to mentally detach from the game.
Okay.
Mentally, emotionally, you got to detach. It takes 2 years, at least a year up to 2.
Okay.
Because the first year you're out, you sit on the couch, you're like, man, I would
kill that guy.
Oh man, how much is he making off 10 mil? I could do that right now off the couch for 10 mil, right? But it's this competitive thing you have that you can't let go until you just walk away from the game.
Now give me the wrap-up sign. So you like Seattle by 10. That's what you're going with?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's hard to let go. I was all over you guys from like 2006 to 2010-ish. All my future bets, everything wrapped up into you guys. That's why I still have a strong dislike for the Patriots and Brady. I will say though, Brady redeemed a little bit when I was on the Bucks a lot for the Super Bowl there, but yeah, it's hard to let go.
He is the one and only Shawne Merriman. Thank you for joining us.
You got it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
As Shawne Merriman joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book here, live from Radio Row, as we continue on. Thanks, man. Appreciate your time. That was super fun to talk to him. So another one. We've not had anyone bet the Patriots yet. Okay, we're 3-0.
Tell you what, it's
3-0.
Making it hard to stick to my guns.
3 questions and 3 answers. I'm telling everybody when I've been doing these radio hits around the country. So what's the vibe in the room? Seahawks, all Seahawks.
Yeah, and so for me, I mean, again, I want a close game for the live betting value of it, of getting the liquidity.
I think you're going to get it. I'm a trend guy.
I'm searching what's 21 plus, what's 14 plus odds.
I can't. That is not. I literally did this. I think that's crazy. Betting 14,
which is kind of the purpose of betting those odds.
I think it's crazy. I think this game is not going to go that route. I would be so stunned if that game goes that route, because it makes me think the Patriots win by 14. Like, it makes me, when I hear people saying, and I've seen people on other networks go ahead and do this,
and that's not a bad play.
Maybe go, I'm betting Patriots.
If you get it, back them both 14 plus.
Okay.
I mean, that's maybe just hope that at that last quarter there's just a bit of a blowout and whatnot. And it's
now that I will say this, there is a part of me that feels like the dam could break. That the Patriots are in the game until the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, something happens. And it's like a 2017 game. It's 3-point margin. They're inside. Everything's going. And then all of a sudden you get one touchdown that's out of nowhere. Pick 6 returned, fumble return for a touchdown. And all of a sudden now it's 10.
Yeah, now and that could happen for either of these quarterbacks, because both of them, I imagine, get in position, get down by 10. Throwing a pick's not a hard thing for either of these guys in that position, in that situation. One, Darnold and his past, May, young guy, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Giving up something that's ridiculous, but you're down by 10, and in the last quarter, you got to do it. So
right, you're just going to throw it up in some form or fashion. Yeah. Yeah, so we are waiting. I'm trying to see who's up next. No, I think we have 4 guests next who are left to join us here on the show today. We've entered into the portion of the show where it's like our sports grid stuff is way done. So we're in kind of like this, like the talking portion of the show. Okay. Keith Bulluck will join us coming up here at the top of the hour. So about 15 minutes away. And then we go Keith Bulluck, the former Titan, Tyrod Taylor at 12:15, who now I think he's still with the Jets, but I got to see where he is with. Donovan McNabb and Troy Franklin is the schedule now. That obviously is subject to change based upon availability. We thought Adelaide Mitchell was going to join us. And excuse me, I haven't seen him in the entire room, so maybe he just didn't show up, which can happen from time to time here with Radio Row. But if nobody takes the Patriots today, now one person takes the Patriots, are you still thinking laying 14? You're still going to go and be that confident?
I mean, I'll go look at the odds and see what they are, but yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking that it's just consistently. And then, Shawne saying the 10 plus. I mean, it's I like to be against it.
Right.
I feel like I'm just flowing down the river on the lazy tube with everyone else right now, and there's a waterfall at the end of it. And it's all going to come to
nobody's seeing. I mean, I think this is how I feel about totals, and maybe you disagree with this, but like, I feel like if people are all thinking one way about the total, I actually feel worse about than I do on a side, because total betting is more difficult. Yeah. If everybody thinks the game is going to be played one way, like, oh, it's going to be 13-10. It's going to be 13-10. It's not going to be 13-10.
Correct.
It's like, so that's why I'm betting the over. I just don't believe that people are all going to be right that this game is going to be that low scoring.
Yeah, for me, I mean, every time we roll out these Super Bowl totals, it's been, a normal game would be mid-40s, high 40s, and then you see a 53-54 get hung, and you think, oh, it's got to be on the under.
Right.
Whereas this one saw a 46-47 get hung, and you're like, hang on a second, this is Super Bowl. What am I missing? This feels like it just go over.
Well,
But-
how much does the long halftime factor into a total? Because for me, it's like the tale of two halves. It's a 30-minute halftime. It's not a 12-minute halftime. It's a 30-minute halftime. Guys as a coach, you can rethink your entire game plan. That's how Sean Payton came out and did the onside kick
Right.
at halftime, because he was like, I had so much time to plan. We just decided like this is a good play. So I just wonder if I'm betting the under, do I feel confident that both halves are going to be first half under? Okay.
Yeah.
The game, I don't know. I think the second half being the higher scoring half is a pretty good bet. It's juiced pretty heavily, but I think it's a pretty good bet.
Yeah, no, that one always seems like a play, and I'll take a look shortly and see where the money is.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw this total, just gut instinct was over. Now, looking at the money, it's fairly well balanced. Master money a little bit on the under, but first half action heavy on the under, master money on the under. Just seems to be.
Do you guys have the prop bet up for no score in the first 5 or 6 minutes? Do you know?
We will have a score time, and I'll go
Okay.
through and have a look as
No,
well.
that's fine. Just curious. Because I've seen that as a really popular prop bet, and I don't hate that at all. I think that's actually a pretty good bet, because I don't think this is going to be an extremely high scoring game early, just because the Patriots saw Drake May in the game against the Broncos nearly throw a pick on his first passing attempt. So I think the Patriots are going to be pretty conservative early. So I don't think the Patriots score early. I don't know about, kickoff return for a touchdown. Obviously, that would be interesting, or a big kick return to start for Seattle. That could change things. Punt return could change things. So maybe on that level that there's something going on.
Yeah. So for the first score in the first 5 minutes, minus 270 on the no.
Okay.
Pretty well balanced money.
Oh,
First 5 minutes, 30, minus 200 on the no. Pretty well balanced money. Where differentiation comes is first 6 minutes, 30.
yeah, there's that number.
Minus 150. A little bit more on the money, but the pros are on the over there heavy on a yes in the first 6 minute 30.
Points in the first 6 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. And then on the score in the first 7 minutes, pretty well balanced, but the pros are on the yes there as well.
Well, it's interesting to hear that, because there's a couple things at play there. It's kind of like goals in the first 10 minutes in hockey, where you'd be amazed at how much a goal gets scored with like 10:05, or after 5 seconds after the 10-minute mark, boom, a goal. So like that is obviously the friction point where the data tells you that points is probably the third possession after 6 minutes.
Well, even someone on a drive getting into field goal range as well as that sort of the thing. If the first drive's driving down, when are they in that
Long
field
drive,
goal? Yeah.
field goal. Okay. I like that. No, I like it. I like points in the first 6 minutes. So you guys have that at plus money for the yes?
6 minutes 30 plus money, yes.
Okay. Yeah, plus money.
It was bet at plus 38 all the way down to plus 22.
Plus 122 on the yes for points in the first 6 minutes. I like that a lot. I think that it's a very good way of approaching this game. Good way of betting this game if you want to do it. I'm always looking for the bets I want to make are bets that are going to give me at least a quarter to watch. Like, I don't like the coin flip. I don't like the national anthem, even though I sometimes bet it. I don't like the Gatorade. Like, I don't like these like one-time shot type things. I want multiple shots at the same bet to cash it if I can.
Yeah, I agree on that, except when you get all the colors involved potentially in the Gatorade, and you see some money flowing in that, they might know the answer here.
It's more it's known. Everybody knows the answer.
Now
that's the problem with it.
Yeah, now not as much with the national anthem. They do so many practices, and then you go back into historical YouTube to see what their times normally are.
Charlie Puth, is Charlie Puth sung a national anthem anywhere? Has anyone gone and found that information yet?
I'm sure someone has.
I don't. I mean, Charlie Puth. The only time I ever heard of Charlie Puth was from a Taylor Swift song. So I never knew who the hell the guy was. So like, she sung about him saying he should be a bigger artist. So then, okay, so who's Charlie Puth? I don't know. But he is now singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. And Charlie Puth, I'm like, this guy's not a big voice guy, as far as I can tell. Not a big a cappella, like run-on singer type of thing. And remember, if you are going to bet that, guys, it's from first note to last note. So if he holds the note all the way to the end, well, that's the last note. So it could go over for that reason. But that's always like my issue when it comes to the anthem. We normally have like big voice women. Charlie Puth? I don't know. Like, who the hell is Charlie Puth?
And that was always the key on watching some of the anthems of some of these singers was there was just these random ones in amongst the historical ones where they held a note extra long.
Yeah,
and
it's
you know
burned you.
it's the Super Bowl,
Well,
so they're gonna hold it as long
Christina
as possible.
Aguilera, Whitney Houston, like these types of like big voice singers, you know they're gonna hold it all the way to the end. They're gonna milk the whole damn thing of it. So that's like bet the over. Charlie Puth, I would say bet the under. I don't know.
So the
That'd
betting
be an
is,
under bet.
the betting is around 2 minutes. They found a piano version he did that was just over 60 seconds in a faster style.
60 seconds
Yeah.
is flying. What's the
So-
over under?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
half.
that's why they're saying that potentially he may not have it in him, the stamina to get the full 2 minutes. So I don't know what the number is exactly right now. I don't
mean,
know where the money is.
I
but
forget. I'm not betting this year, but last year or the year before, I went with like deep dived research as to how long the song is supposed to go. The song is supposed to be sung in like 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Okay.
As long as it's supposed to be. Everyone plays around with it and then makes it longer based upon holding notes and just being more. So like you could get the 2 minutes, but if you sing it the way the song is supposed to be sung, it's 140. So like betting the under is the play if the person sings the song the way it's supposed to be sung. I would lean towards Charlie Puth singing the song the way the song's supposed to be sung, just because I don't think he's got that big voice. I've only heard like literally 2 songs of the guy. He's a folk artist. He's just like a folk singer. He's like he's a great artist, but he's not somebody I ever thought would sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Like, I don't know who they're targeting. I'm always curious, like, who are they targeting when they hire these people to be on this stage? Because the halftime show is big, and I get the whole controversy around the halftime show. But the actual national anthem, the audience size is enormous. Everyone's glued to their seats. And then you're up there by yourself singing a song in front of millions of people. I don't know, like halftime show, you got a whole performance. National anthem is just you.
Well, I can give you some data on this.
Okay, please do.
So currently the line is at 125 seconds.
2 minutes and 5 seconds. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
The master money is pretty well balanced both ways.
Okay.
We saw some money over 122.5, over 123.5, and the last bet was under 125.
Under. I like the under. If I was betting it, I bet the under. I think 205 is too long. How do you guys? This is a great time to ask this. Who's responsible for the official number? How do you guys? How do you say this is what happened? Your stopwatch. Someone like who gets?
Generally, there's bits and pieces of it, and
That's
then
wild.
someone now. I mean, back in the day, you got
Yeah.
so many complaints when it was around the time. It was almost
Buddy,
like
the music started at 120.
yeah.
I love that.
Now there actually usually is an official time that comes out that says
Here's how long it was.
Yeah. But this one, I mean, at 125, the under is minus 173.
Okay.
So I would hope they'd go down and maybe find a number around 121, 122 to get that around to pick them. But yeah, this just feels like an under.
Do you have anything? Do you have Gatorade up that market?
We will have.
Did you have that market? I was curious. Is it red, green, purple? Because if it's Seattle, lime green seems to be so obvious. Like if you like the Seahawks to win, it feels like lime green would be the ultimate automatic. You have to fire on lime green. It would be weird if Seattle won the Super Bowl and like used purple or something. Like that wouldn't make any sense for them to go ahead and do that from a Gatorade perspective. I would, if the Patriots win, you would think that red would be the most logical for a Gatorade shower. I don't know why coaches still allow that to happen. I wouldn't know. I mean, I wouldn't even want that. That's got to be the most annoying thing in the world to get hit with like 35, 50 gallons of sticky Gatorade and then have to go to a press conference afterwards and be like, yeah, I'm completely drenched. These guys hit me with, concentrated, not just Gatorade, but the powder, the concentrated powder of it would not be something I would be looking to do. Ish says orange would be his bet for Gatorade. I don't know. Orange? Maybe it was with the Broncos. I think orange would work. But if you're doing it for the Patriots or the Seahawks.
There was a game of Super Bowl maybe 2 or 3 Super Bowls ago where both teams were kind of blue, and the blue got bet off the map and it showed up as blue.
It was blue purple.
Blue purple.
I remember that. That. It was both. You got blue to make sure that there wasn't like a argument over the color, being like, wait, that's more purple than blue. It should be blue. So yeah. This is water, by the way, in case you guys are curious. They have these things in these Aquafina aluminum cans. So I'm not drinking a beer, but purple Riptide Rush, according to Frank, for that. You know what? Let's go down the rabbit hole. Go ahead and hit it. We're talking Gatorade colors. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's see where we are here. So our friends at Rabbit, this is where you guys could go and make a market like this if you want to go. If you think you're feeling strongly about one color or not, you can go peer-to-peer sports betting marketplace. You guys are capable of going ahead and jumping in and do that. If you want with Rabbit, you guys can get 5 free Rabbit cash. That was right, Eric. You put that up. That was good. You can throw that up there. For Rabbit, the peer-to-peer sports picking, you guys can go ahead and do that. $5, 5 free Rabbit cash when you sign up using that code Rabbit5 for that. Google Play, Apple Play Store to go ahead and do that. We really appreciate our relationship with our friends. Good to see Frank in the live chat at the moment. Frank from Rabbit, you guys can do that. Frank says, go ahead and put $10 on Liquid IV on that. All right. So do we have more info on where you guys are at on this?
No. To find it right
all right.
now.
It's fine. No worries. It's all good. Yeah. I think that these are fun. Do you guys put up the coin flip?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
What is there a theory you have about the coin flip?
Put it up at 102 and let them bet.
All right, thank you. At least it's 102. At least you're putting up a fair price.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, there's a lot of stories about good ways at the end of the year or beginning of the year to clean some money and go bet both sides and those kind of things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
heavy bet on both?
Yeah, but yeah, it's put it up, have a bit of fun about it. But yeah, 101, 102, just
fine. You're fair.
Yeah.
I can't get the 110, 110.
No, that's
I just can't deal with it. It just drives me crazy. I just can't figure it out. Like, how in the world, with a straight face, are you making somebody pay juice on a 50-50 split? Literally 50-50 split. It would be nuts to go ahead and do that. There's no need to do that at all. So, no. Purple Riptide Rush, according to Rabbit Frank, is the best flavor of Gatorade. The best flavor of Gatorade. I don't know. I'm so boring. Like, when it comes to that stuff, I'm a 48-year-old guy. Like, give me fruit punch and we're done. Like, I don't need all, like, the icy cool Gatorade stuff. It's too much.
Yeah, I was generally just a yellow.
Yeah.
Lemon lime.
Lemon lime.
I hit the blue occasionally.
I just grabbed that because that was upstairs. That way, I'm glad that you like it. I just grabbed it because it was here. I was just trying to find a Gatorade flavor.
So first coin toss money, and we are 101.
101. Thank you. That's great. That's fair.
So we're looking at heads and tails. We're about 82% of the money.
Shut up.
Is on heads.
Oh.
And then
82% of the money is on heads. 80% of the money is on heads. Okay. Yeah. Tails it is. Mark it down.
Yeah, I remember
tails it is.
It was odd last year. That was really, really heavy on one side as well. No pro money, all recreational.
Yeah, of course. Oh.
Whether who wins the toss is 50-50.
My goodness gracious! On these circumstances, it's all here. Hi, what's going on? This is fun. I got to pull up my sheet so I can read who all these great people are sitting down to our guys back in there. What's your favorite?
Keith Bulluck.
Hi, Keith Bulluck. How are you? Thank you so much.
Thank
you very much. How are you? I was like, who am I talking to? Good to see you, Keith Bulluck. What's going on? When you were playing, do you have a favorite Gatorade flavor?
Yeah, yo, that's so funny. That's so funny. You know what? I've never thought about how much Gatorade I drank until you asked me this question. Orange.
Orange is your go-to.
Yeah.
This is very tight and blue.
Yo, orange was so refreshing after those hot days on training camp.
Yeah.
So yeah, orange. And then orange and purple.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an orange and purple guy.
Orange and purple guy.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the Gatorade, who gets doused which coach. So like it would
what's the color?
Well, it would be weird because like for the Seahawks, they're so green, right? So like lemon lime would be really easy for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And the Patriots are really, really red. or blue. So it seems to be like you have like 3 choices.
That should be? I feel like that should be a Vegas prop bet.
Well,
like what color? The color of Gatorade.
So it is.
It is?
Every year they do it. They bet on what color Gatorade will get spilled on the coach.
Oh my God! I think I need to get in on that one. I would throw 100 down on that.
So and right now,
what do you think? What is your?
We're looking
So, I'm going to bring up the odds and then we'll get an opinion on.
We were looking at it as there's only 3 choices, but you have like 5 or 6.
Yeah, for sure.
You got blue, you got purple, you got red, you got green, you got clear.
I would tell you like this. So it's mixed, and it's probably going to be yellow because it's mixed. We've had blue before though with the Titans. I remember having blue Gatorade.
Okay,
I think it's going to be yellow. I just think it's just easier for the trainers to do.
Okay. Did it taste different when they mix it?
Yes.
Okay.
It tastes like they put more water than.
It's watered down.
Yeah, a little bit because
I think it was the other way. Really. More intense.
I've had super sweet Gatorade and it's no good.
Yeah.
So I prefer the more water.
Yeah. Well, you want the hydration too with it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about this game on Sunday. Where is your head here? Do the Patriots have a shot?
They do have a shot because they have 2 great coaches in Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels. But I think it's going to be a Seattle Seahawks victory. And I say that because the maturation of Sam Darnold. Yeah. So obviously started off with the Jets. Everybody wanted to write him off as a bust, and then he goes to Carolina, has a little bit of success, helped them out. Then he gets to here in San Francisco with the 49ers, and I think that's really made the turn, right? Yeah. He started to understand the game a little bit better, working with Kyle Shanahan. And then last year, he showed that he could play in Minnesota, didn't get over the hump, and I think that's why so many people were skeptical this year about him because the way he ended last year, right? He played great all year, got to the playoffs, couldn't finish. But I love how he responded this year, not only in the regular season, but he really has been showing out in the playoffs. And it's going to be 2 great defenses playing, but I think that Sam Darnold will figure out the jigsaw puzzle of the New England Patriots defense before Drake May, who's in his 2nd year, figures out what the Seattle Seahawks are going to throw at him.
That's actually probably the fairest call that I've heard in sort of analyzing the 2 quarterbacks and where they're at.
Yeah.
Obviously Minnesota let go Darnold last year. 2 rough games at the end of it, and they thought he was a product of the system and sort of said, we can put anyone in that spot. But this is a 2nd year, guy. This is a guy that's going to be in the biggest game of his life really early, and that's really key part there, I think.
Yeah, and to add on to that, Sam Darnold, they both have great defenses, right? Quarterbacks. So Sam Darnold in his 6th, 7th year is going to go into the game loose, because if he throws a pick, all right, my defense got me. He'll shake it off faster. Whereas I feel Drake May, he hasn't been putting up the numbers that he did in the regular season, and he's seeing that playoff football is totally different. These coaches are putting a game plan together for one game, and he's going in probably thinking, I don't want to mess this thing up. Right. Whereas Sam Darnold's going to come out winging it, he just threw for 360 last 2 weeks ago against Matt Stafford. So his confidence is all the way up. So he's going to play a little looser, where I feel as if Drake May and the Patriots have, played the hand that they were dealt, been able to win, but Drake May hasn't really played a huge role in making those huge plays. Because I remember seeing him, I feel, week 6 or 7 or 8 in Tennessee. Yeah. And he lit the Titans up for 360, 3 touchdowns. I'm like, this kid's the real deal. But you could tell in the playoffs, things get a little tighter. So
does it, from a Titan fan perspective, Titan player perspective, is it odd? Is it difficult? Is it frustrating to see Mike Vrabel, who was on your sidelines, who had such success, was coaching the Titans, and now here it feels like there's been some people that in the Tennessee world that aren't really psyched that Mike Vrabel's taking the Patriots to the Super Bowl?
Well, first thing I say is, good for Mike Vrabel. It's a business, and he and the owner didn't see it the same way, so he decided to walk, or they decided not to bring him back. And everything that he wanted from Tennessee, he obviously got in New England. There's a relationship there with Robert Kraft, And yeah, there's a lot of Titans fans that are like crabby about it, but it's like, yo, you guys ever break up with a pretty girl? You get over it, right? You move on. Go get you another pretty girl. But yeah, they're definitely Titan fans that are become Vrabel fans, and they're a little peeved that with his success.
I mean, they're talking about this being a very defensive game, two strong defenses. We just had Shawne Merriman here. How do you see defenses today versus, years ago? Is it just they're becoming a product of the rules that they have to play within? How do you really see it in the game today?
Hey, that was a great way to put it. I was trying to think how I was going to get to that. I think it's the rules. Obviously these players have to play within a different structure of the rules. And, since being retired, I've interviewed a few guys, and one of the questions I ask defensive players is, what do you think about before making a tackle? And they have an answer for that.
Huh. And
when I played, we didn't think about nothing. It's full tilt. I'm thinking about running through this guy. Like, however I hit him, and he's going down. He's going down or I'm going down, but somebody's going down. And these guys, you're thinking of where to hit the target, where to, you know what I mean? And then I just think tackling overall has become poor, right? You see a lot of guys going for the ball instead of the ball carrier. And I don't know when that became a thing, but I just think defense is played how it's coached. And, as a player, regardless your position, you're going to reflect how your coach coaches you. And that's how you go out to play. So I think defense is played how it's coached.
Yeah, so that's what one of my questions that I was going to come up with was it, as a defensive player, is it just more pure violence or a chess game? Well, it seems like in your day, more pure violence, and today it's becoming a chess game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because there was nothing to think about. It was nothing to think about. I feel I got over 1,000, NFL tackles. So I feel like I was a pretty sure tackler. Sometimes, you think, do I make a high tackle or do I, things like that based upon the situation you're in a split second, but not where I'm not going to hit him in the head. I want to hit you in the head so I can knock you out and you're out of the game. And then you got to get your backup in. Right. Who wasn't really prepared all week. So it was definitely a totally different game. I think everything ended with Bouncy Gate.
Yeah, I probably I stopped on that. You were a rookie in 2000, right?
I was.
So you were part of, at least on the sidelines, for the Music City Miracle, right?
No, so I came the year after.
Year after, okay.
So my career, I got to the Titans the year after they went to the Super Bowl, and I left the Giants the year before they went to the Super Bowl. So my career is bookend on Super Bowl teams.
But you played with Eddie George.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
What was practice like with Eddie? What was that like to watch him? I've interviewed him multiple times.
Yeah.
I covered the Titans. I lived in Huntsville, Alabama for a while. So I covered the
Sorry
Titans.
to hear that.
Your career, I covered it from 2001 all the way to 2005.
Oh, wow.
So I was at the majority of the Titans games. And I was always marveling at just Eddie's ability to break tackles and how tough he was to face. You guys in practice, what was it like to face Eddie George?
that's we didn't really go live, and it's funny. Eddie and I, he just came on my show. I have a podcast I started, and we were talking about the time in practice where he came around the corner. It was a full padded practice, and you just make the eye contact. Obviously, I'm a linebacker, and I'm scraping, coming. We make the eye contact, and I'm like, I know he's not going to stop. So I had to make a decision. Do you tackle Eddie George in practice? Or we hit, you know? So typically you don't do that, but Eddie is a dog and I was a dog. I'm not backing down. He's not backing down. So, we had a nice collision on the sidelines, got up, went back to practice. But Eddie was a tone setter. He definitely set the tone. What stuck out to me was how he always practiced. He never missed practice. He can carry the ball 30 times in a game, and on Monday he's there practicing. On Wednesday he's there practicing. Thursday, Friday, he always practiced. So I think his work ethic and obviously who he was, his work ethic, his mentality, the approach he took to the game, it rubbed off on a lot of players on our team, and he was a tone setter. Eddie George set the tone.
Speaking of tone setters, you on the defense. Who do you see out there today sort of in that role? Again, we just had Shawne, who was a leader on the defense side of himself. Who do you see in the game today as really leading defenses? And what's the what's the main thing you're trying to get to the defenses as you're sort of trying to get them? I mean, the other side has a quarterback. It's easy.
Right.
On the flip side, you've got, how do you look at that?
So I would start with two guys just off the top of my head. The guy that plays here in San Francisco, linebacker Fred Warner. He's a dog. And then the guy we got in Tennessee, Jeffrey Simmons, on a 4-12 team to bring it every single game. It's easy to play when you're winning, when the chips are up and the offense is scoring 30 points a game. And, but when you're losing, what are you going out to play for? I call those empty seasons. So you have to find something bigger. And for Jeffrey Simmons, it was bigger. It is bigger. Unfortunately, Fred Warner got hurt early in the season, and he wasn't able to complete the season. But those are two guys that I look for. And then being a leader of the defense, it starts in the beginning of the week, right? So if we were playing LaDainian Tomlinson on Sunday, I'm starting on Wednesday with the defense. And when we get the game plan, I'm telling the D-line, you can't get sacks unless we stop the run. So we have to get after the run. So I'm getting in everybody's head early during the week. I might say something to my defensive backs, like my safety. Look, I need you to be in the box. I need you to show up fast. We're just having all these different communications on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So by the time you get in the game, you already know the communications. You already know what to look for. You already know the different looks that the offense is going to give you. So with that, we try and do our best to stop whoever we're going against.
Yeah, speaking of stopping the run, I mean, you had a great running back on your team. Who was it that you were always looking to stop when you were playing the defense?
That's correct. Yeah, you have your Edgerrin James, who was on the Colts. We saw them 2 times a year. Fred Taylor, we saw 2 times a year. Then they got Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor. And then I just always say, in the NFL, every running back is good, right? Like, so if you don't stop the run, any running back can have their day, So I don't like to discredit anybody at that position or any position, because if you made it to this level, you could play a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You could play a little bit. So I think those two that they popped, Jerome Bettis, Corey Dillon, like I said, LaDainian Tomlinson, Marshawn Lynch. So there's a bunch out there.
I love hearing these names because this is my core betting NFL year. Back to
Keith, they're telling us we got to wrap. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Best of luck to the Titans. A lot of good things happening for Tennessee. New stadium, new quarterback, new coach. A lot of things happening for the Titans. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's Keith Bulluck joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Good to get him on the program, talking football with us here for the Super Bowl. He's taking Seattle, right? You took Seattle? Yeah, that's 4 now. So that's now 4. So we get to have anybody join us to take the Patriots yet.
So his favorite Gatorade Orange is the favorite in betting.
Okay.
Bit over 2-1.
Orange is the favorite.
Yeah, yellow is 3rd pick at 4-1.
There's a little inside information there. The orange, he said orange on hot days.
Yeah, and they said yellow is easiest for the trainers, and
yellow's easiest for the trainer to water it down. Well, that's interesting. Wow. It's funny. It's 12:15 Pacific time at the moment, and you can feel that everyone's in the room right now. Like if you're coming to Radio Row, like everybody's here. It is full in here right now. Like you can't walk down the center aisle coming up. We're scheduled to talk to Tyrod Taylor here in a couple of moments. That's going to be a lot of fun to talk to him. Donovan McNabb is scheduled in about 30 minutes, and then we'll end the show talking to Troy Franklin of the Denver Broncos. Obviously, those are all to be determined whether or not they're here and able to show up with us. We can be scheduled. But, I mean, this has been already a super fun day. We've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We'll keep going for another 45 minutes or so here, as long as you can kind of hang.
I'm hanging in there, but I can feel it.
You feel it, right? You hit that 2-hour mark, and you're like,
I felt myself sort of drift there for a moment and whatnot, and I'm back now.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, you got to pep back up again, and then it's just these are the days, because they get like, once when we're done, we got to go chop up all this audio, video, post it all, get it all out there. So like the workload does not stop. It's like it's gonna be do the show live. I got a ton of work to do on the other side, so I know to pace myself and go like, okay, make sure. I was in bed last night at 10:30. I was asleep by 11. Got up at 6:30. I felt good. We're rolling. So it was like, okay, I feel good. This is going to be a good day today. So off to a good start. We haven't had any technical problems, knock on wood. So we're going to jump in on that. So it's been so good so far. I was gonna say, I was like, that's Von Miller. I was like, I was pretty confident. I was gonna be like, Von, what are you doing? Von Miller just left his bag on our chair, so I was like, I don't think it's a very nice Louis Vuitton bag that Von Miller just put down on our chair. It's like, hi Von, how are you? What are you doing? Go be a Patriot next year. We need a pass rusher in New England. Go get. I'd be really curious. I want to hear Tyrod Taylor's take on the Patriots because that's a guy that just I would assume just hates the Patriots guts. Like, but he's an active player, so active players tend to be a little bit more on the skeptical side because they might one day be playing for the Patriots.
Play it down a little. Don't want that soundbite popping up next season.
When you get signed by that team, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I thought he hated the Patriots, and he winds up playing for the Patriots. But that's what happened to Joe Milton. I mean, Joe Milton's comments, that he said yesterday morning went viral by bashing the Patriots. And then he was asked the question left and right. There's Donovan McNabb. And then he was asked left and right about, okay, you said this about the Patriots, this about your role, this about Drake May, blah, blah, blah. And he spent the better part of the afternoon playing backtrack, trying to apologize for the comments he said about Drake May. So he's still an active player who wants to pick up paychecks. So like, that's where you're like, hold on a second. Like, what are we doing? Like, so you do need to be a little bit careful. That is, that's the backup quarterback for the Patriots. He just walked by. Why am I blanking on? Oh, that's going to drive me nuts. Spent like 20 years with the Patriots. Why can't I remember the backup quarterback for the Patriots? He's now in the media doing Patriot content, which is hysterically funny. I've not seen Julian Edelman yet, which I'm wondering he has to make an appearance at some point. I did see Gronk yesterday, so he made an appearance.
NFL players are always majority were the hardest to recognize because most of the time they're wearing helmets.
Yes.
You don't get to see them.
But that's always the knock on the NFL period, right? Like Keith Bulluck sat down. I covered Keith Bulluck in Tennessee. I was at for 4 seasons. It was Gallows games. He sat down. I had no idea who it was. I was like, who are you? Like Keith Bulluck. I was like, oh shoot. Hi, how are you? Like, I didn't know what the order is to who we were supposed to go. Brian Hoyer, thank you very much. Not Bailey Zappi, Brian Hoyer. Thank you very much. Chat's phenomenal. Whenever I don't know, the chat will bail us out. The chat will get it right. Yes, Brian Hoyer just walked by. Jeff Garcia. I saw Jeff Garcia earlier. He's here. Do I want to go for a throwback name? I was walking around. As I said, Von Miller just sat down next to us. Von Miller needs to go and do a reality show as being like the most interesting man in the NFL. He's just a very unique personality. He's very charismatic. He's very what the flyover? Those must be the pilots doing the flyover. Wouldn't it be weird that your job is to do the flyover at the game and you got to go to media? You have to go to media. Like tell people.
I saw them here yesterday and I wondered what the heck they were doing here.
Right.
They were walking out the front as I was coming in, and they were.
Their job is to talk about, hey, so how are you going to fly the plane? Like, just don't crash the plane. Like, what's the question? What's the experience like flying a B-52 bomber or whatever they're going to be flying for the Super Bowl? Whatever that flyover is. And then how do you time it out to hit the right note on that? So, anyways, back to the anthem. Charlie Puth is 2 minutes and 5 seconds. You said the money's on the under? More money's on the under, right?
Yeah.
So we're on orange?
Somewhat balanced, but it's under 125, minus 173 right
okay,
now.
so we're doing the under on the anthem. We're betting orange.
I don't know. I think the yellow
Yellow
might be the go
All
there.
right.
It's third pick. I mean,
all right. So we're betting on the yellow for the Gatorade. Then we're betting how many planes. Oh, there's a prop bet for how many planes are going to be part of the. So you can get some information.
I haven't seen that one.
Get some information. There's some inside information.
All right, where do we go?
Right? You got to ask him about how many planes are in your formation. So we go ahead and bet that. That would be that'd be an interesting option. 2, 3. Has to be 3, right? 2 would be weird.
Yeah, it has to be some kind of V.
V,
so
right?
like
Yeah.
5, 3 or 5.
Yeah, odd number, right? 1, 3, or 5. So that would be the number that I would play for that. If you could bet on what songs we played, I'd make some good money. You can bet on what songs we played, Ish. You can bet on which Bad Buddies in the.
I got a story here.
Okay, let's tell the story.
Rihanna.
Okay, last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Sorry, yeah.
Found out what
the word
found out what the last or the first song was going to be.
Oh my!
Bet it hard.
Okay.
Hard.
Yeah. Wrong?
No.
I was right.
Correct.
Okay.
Monday morning, my bookie in Jamaica that
Void.
puts all my bets on says they're voided. All the bets are voided.
Oh no.
Took
Just
me-
from you or everybody?
They voided the whole thing apparently.
Oh my.
So the internet is great these days.
Yeah.
Because I could find the tracking of the pricing. I betted it about 3-1. It closed like 10s on.
Really?
Went across, found FanDuel, DraftKings screenshots, all this, submitted to the gaming. Gaming said, no, not paying. Then it come back, they would pay. Then the platform provider got them to not pay. I got paid for these bets.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl week the following year.
No. So they're waiting
all of them
for the liquidity to come back up.
I don't know what they're waiting.
They waited for the
Took me a
liquidity,
year,
then paid you.
But I got paid. It was a bit over 10,000.
All right. Wow.
And yeah, that's my.
That is tremendous. At least you had to fight for it though.
I fought.
What
for
was
it.
the justification for not paying?
They said it was a wrong line, and then that's when I got all the prints and whatnot. And oddly enough, so this was 2024, I presented at an international gaming regulators event in Botswana.
In where?
Botswana.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I actually used this as an example of where regulators are failing.
Yeah.
The Jamaican regulators were at this
Oh
conference.
no.
And I wonder if that might have kicked it over the line.
That's
that
awesome.
I got paid 3 months later.
Somebody made a phone call and said, hey, this guy's going international, complaining about our ability to force our books to pay out a line that was actually up. That's awesome. But that's also the case that, like, you got to pay that. Like, that has to get paid. Like,
And that's I've seen a lot of that in the industry now.
They get burned.
Some states are very player-centric. Some states are very book-centric.
Yeah.
For me, you should always, be fair if you can.
Of course.
But lean towards the player, if anything.
Well, if you take the line, you put the line up and take the bets, and the bet cashes, unless you find something nefarious that's illegal that went on, and something in your house rules that states you can't do it, you got to pay the bet.
Yeah.
You got to pay it. It's the number of people that we've seen not pay things out. It's just not. I don't know. It drives me crazy. It's one of those things of like, it hurts the industry across the board. It hurts everyone. It hurts content. It hurts everyone. So that's a frustration from me and from anybody, looking at the betting markets. I think people feel like bookmakers are out there to scam you, and that's not true. Or books set traps. They knew it was a wrong line and they took all the action. They held my money for so long and then they didn't pay. Yeah. Like that's the stuff that people go public with, that goes viral, and it hurts everything. I can't tell you the number of people in my own personal life who will send me videos for people who are complaining about the industry, who are ripping on it for whether it be, KYC, whether it be problem gaming, whether it be we're bankrupting an entire generation of young men in America by legalization.
And this is where I always jump in. iCasinos, sure. Sports betting, different game. Margins tiner, it's all these kind of things.
I saw a video from a guy who said the average person is losing $300 a month betting on sports. And if you took that money and invested $300 a month betting on sports for an entire year for 20 years, that money would turn into $20 million in 30 years. And I went, okay, time out. One, if I was losing $300 a month every month betting on sports, I wouldn't be betting on sports. I'm not that stupid. Like, if you're constantly losing every single month, you're down 300, and you keep banging your head against that wall, you're addicted. Like, yes. That's an addiction. Like that's you. A logical human being is not going to be able to say, I'm not good at this, I should stop. So I don't understand when people make these like ridiculous claims about investment versus sports betting.
And in that spot, why not take 150 and bet it, 150 invest it? Then you have your 10 million and whatnot, and
fine.
So,
Right. That's what I said too.
That's where it comes down to. There's some common sense needs to come into some of these conversations.
It's just clickbait bullshit. That's what it is. It's just clickbait bullshit. People go ahead and put it out there into the world, and it gets all this attention. And it's like your mom sends it to you saying, like, doesn't this make a lot of sense? You could be investing your money. It's like, I could be investing it and I could be betting it. I could have fun and have entertainment when I go out and buy a dinner for $200, no one's talking to me about the $200 dinner that I buy once a
or
month.
going to the nightclub and spending,
it's like all of a sudden people think that, like, Matt, you got to be careful. Why do I got to be careful when you don't talk to me about buying a bottle of champagne that's $125 or $250, whatever it is that you're buying? No one's talking about people doing that. But as soon as sports gambling comes around, it's like it's the death of society. Like I mean, Scott Galloway, one day I have a dream of sitting across the table with Scott Galloway and having a conversation with him about this line in front of millions he's pushing, that we are bankrupting an entire generation of young men in America, and that we are going to reap this horrific 5-10 years from now. We're going to have a whole generation of young men who are broke and addicted and desperate. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, you have a gigantic platform and you're deciding to go ahead and not attack. I'm not saying people don't get addicted. They do. Gambling is like anything else, like alcohol, like marijuana, like any other. It's a vice. But it's not nearly as dangerous and destructive on the mass side of things. Micro, yes. Macro, no. That I feel like people are way over their skis on so many of these topics as to like what really is going on in this country. And again, if you're losing every month and you lose $300 every single month, stop. Like, stop. You have a problem. You shouldn't be gambling. Like, that's just an issue. But I mean, I look around the room here today, and I think it's what I love too. Speaking of the gambling side, is that when you say things to people, when you say like, in my gambling era or when I was betting, there was a time 5 years ago, maybe more than that, 6 years ago, that would be the akin of you like standing on the table and screaming the F word.
Yeah.
Like, people would just like recoil, like they wouldn't, and you just say like, when I was gambling on you, like it just goes over, like no one acknowledges it. Like,
Right.
Okay. Because they've always known this. It's just now it's more, everyone knows you can talk about it.
And it's a very American thing as well. Again, we've grown up on a Melbourne Cup, this day of school. You know, it was kind of a race that stopped the nation kind of thing. And it was always kind of, even traveling, coming into the States in the beginning, it was like, what do you do? Real estate, investing.
What do you do?
Yeah, and then it sort of got into a groove of, even pre-PASPA and whatnot, of, not American, and this is what I do, this is what I travel, things like that. But yeah, coming to this side of the world, it was sort of a, and I'm talking 2001, 2002, the first time I went to Vegas, coming through, it was kind of, being mindful that where you're going into and that it's not, something that's prevalent.
Yeah, it's weird because this country is still, like you look at a state like Tennessee versus Alabama, or a state like Mississippi versus Alabama. Like, you're talking about two states that are bordering one of the few less likely of states to ever go legal. And I was doing a hit this morning in Alabama, and the person I was talking to, it was like, well, Alabama's really into prediction markets right now.
Yeah.
And like, if I heard that as a regulator, I would go, what? Like, how does that, you have states all around you, the people are leaving your state to go gamble. And now in your state, you got people who are playing and taking tax dollars out of your state and sending it out elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that was sweepstakes. Then it's prediction markets. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's here. And now they're starting to look at this on a federal level and whatnot. And it's even for the states that have sports betting with prediction markets.
Yeah.
They're making it so hard. Ohio has a very small catalog, and there's lots of things on the Super Bowl this week that they will not offer.
Okay.
College player props, which I agree with.
Yeah.
There's certain things of what nature, but with the way prediction markets are doing it now, there's anything and everything. If you can approach a Kelce or a Poly market and say, I want this market, and if they can find liquidity on the other side, they'll go and build it and things like that. So it's really becoming a spot where some of the conversations with the states, I'm explaining to them, like, I'm here to help.
Yeah. Use me.
Step one was regulate the unregulated offshore.
Yeah.
Now you have a big gray market in your own backyard. How do we get that better? And it's not by raising taxes, because there's no taxes over there on those other operators.
Yeah.
There's these challenges that are in the space.
I don't know why. If I was a regulator and I was running a state, and I know we're trying to kick back on Kalshi and Polymarket as to like how they're doing and what they're doing, but I feel like there's such a big problem right now with the states that like we can't bet on everything. Like we can't bet on everything. We're betting on everything.
Yes.
And that's my issue with production market. That's my issue with everything going on. Hi, what's going on? We're throwing a curveball. I love it. That's good. If we're promoting something for you, I'm going to need to know. I followed you on social media for probably 20 years.
Really?
Yes. Funny Jill. I mean, so first and foremost, you got to tell me what you're doing.
Here or
There,
just in life?
In life, all of it. Tell us all of it.
So I'm here. Obviously, it's almost like my 30th Super Bowl. The first one was when I was 18, cheering for the Niners. Last one they won the Super Bowl. Long time Jerry Rice, Steve Young. So I'm here doing with my, I guess, multiple shows. My main show is Beyond the Game, which is Reach TV, and we go and take athletes outside of what they normally do on the field. So like I run the hill to Jerry Rice, DJing with Shaquille O'Neal, tossing the ball with Warren Moon, throwing some, with the bag with Ryan Garcia. So all the different things that, that you would see that fly on the wall type of thing.
Yeah. How has this thing changed for you over the years?
It's crazy how much bigger and bigger it gets. And now you've got the influencers and the podcasters and you know what I mean? But it keeps getting bigger. Now it's like everyone wants to be like on Media Row. Before it's like we're all here like working. Now it's like people just want to go and just walk through and see what they see. But it's nice. I mean, it's great. It just shows how much sports is a business, entertainment, and all that.
How do you see the NFL from when you started and got in to where it is now? I mean, the growth of it is obviously insane. But like, are you good with the international? Are you good that we're sending all these games? We just announced Melbourne. He's from Australia.
Yeah.
Are you good with the international twist? Like, this is where we're going?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we used to go when I cheered for the Niners, cheerleader for the Niners and the Cowboys. And so we would do these, they were called what were they called back then?
Junkets?
No, they were bowl games that were out, that we went to, and then we did one in Tokyo, and then we did different ones, the American Bowls, and we went over there.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Remember those?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are preseason games.
Yes, they're preseason.
Yeah.
So exhibition games, and so these ones are real games. I mean, it's tough because you see like certain teams, like they feel like they're, well, why do I got to go to Mexico? I got to fly all the way, like Jacksonville, flying to UK or whatever.
How far is the flight to Australia?
15 hours.
15 hours.
Exactly. So it's like, of course, they're flying first class charter,
right?
But
it's still 15 hours.
It's still 15 hours.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to grow the sport, But at the same time, if you're those players, some of them are like, okay, I would love to go to Australia, but can I go like on my off time, not when I'm like dialed in for like a regular season game with playoff implications on the line, things like that.
Niners are playing in Australia against the Rams.
Yes,
it's kind of a big game.
That's actually like a huge. NFC West shootout. So that's going to be huge.
I don't like those games being set.
I love Australia. I've been there multiple times and I'm obsessed with Australia. So like for me, and I cover the Niners at times, so I'll go over and I'll be able to work and maybe enjoy a little bit as well.
So I mean, know very little, but Australia, which parts what do you enjoy when you go over there?
I love Sydney because I like Bondi Beach, obviously.
Yep.
But then I love Melbourne because it's a sports city.
Very much so.
So you go to like the layout, the relaxation, obviously of Sydney, but then Melbourne, like I went to a cricket game, my first cricket game.
There you go.
My first rugby game.
Yep.
So for me, I was like, oh, they're like such a diehard sports fans. And when I went with the NFL, and they sent a bunch of us during the Super Bowl to go and like bring the sport. It was a bunch of us former cheerleaders.
Yep.
We went over there, and it was fantastic. And just to see, like, I mean, I'm just a sports fan of all sports. So to like see how the fans are, with the cricket and rugby, I didn't know what cricket. I was like, looks like baseball to me, but not really. You know what I mean? And so, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, like learn about it and love it. And I just think the Melbourne's probably more of a place for me because the sports fandom is so big.
Yeah, I grew up just near Melbourne, and for me, Melbourne and Boston are very similar. Both big
that's
sports
you know
cities.
what? That's
Plus
a great way
you
to
get the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely. I used to. I haven't been home for 18 years. So seeing this game, it's running through my head. Like, I think I'm going home for this game.
Right.
But yeah, I used to go home every summer for the Australian Open tennis. There'd be cricket at the MCG and playing a poker tournament at the casino there. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And then Sydney, what would you compare it to the States?
So Sydney, bit more like LA kind of
I was going to say California.
California, San Diego. I did two years
San Diego.
Yeah, 2 years in Sydney I did as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you still do much stuff with the NBA?
I do. I cover the Mavericks.
Okay.
So I still do that. It's once I left the Lakers when Phil Jackson left, so we left at the same time. Obviously, when Phil leaves, you're like, okay, I think I'm going to leave too. Things are about to get bad. It's like jumping ship, right?
Yep.
And you see what's going on with the Lakers now, and with Luka and LeBron, and how that dynamic looked great on paper, but then there's not enough balls on the court.
Yeah.
And it's like, right away, I was like, who's going to bring up the ball? They both like bringing up the ball.
Right.
LeBron at least will get back on defense. Luka's like arguing with the ref or whatever, and then slowly walks to get on defense. So many crazy trades yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's funny because you almost forget, like, people don't even realize there's big trades going on in the NBA because we're all here immersed in like this little convention center about NFL and Super Bowl. And
today, anything major happens today, we're not going to know about it. It's going to completely go.
Right.
I think it's like in 10 minutes. Is the actual
it's deadline.
trade deadline
Yeah.
coming up here. I've never asked you your history with that though, because you were the first ever female NBA scout, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How did that come to be?
So I was covering the Lakers for CBS affiliate in Los Angeles. And so I was doing the pre and post game for the Lakers. And I used to always have like a great eye for talent. I'd write down, my own like scouting report, and Mitch Kupchak, the late Jerry West, and Phil Jackson, Jerry Buss. They were like, and I started talking to Phil about the triangle offense. I'm like, what does this chick know about like the triangle offense and the movement of the ball? And anyhow, so they tried me out for a year. They love my scouting reports. And then, and for that first year, I didn't get paid. Make sure I mention that. And then 13 years, I was with them and got 5 championship rings.
5 championship rings. What's the life of a scout like? Was there any other females who were
Still not.
Still not.
Yeah. And I left in 2015.
Well, that's surprising. I would have thought for sure we would have seen some. Wow. What's that?
It's not a glamorous job, y'all.
It's
you know what I mean? Like,
that's like ultimate boys club. Then you're walking into,
and I'm going into you have to have 1 year eligibility. So of course we don't go to high schools, but you're going to colleges, all over, doing these different shootouts, tournaments, renting a car, living out of your suitcase. Like people going, oh, are you here to scout the cheerleaders? Or your cheerleader? Like, no, you're not going to go through that every time. You know what I mean? So it was like like a whole deal. But it was phenomenal, that to be there and with the dynasty of the Lakers.
So with 3 daughters, non-traditional role that you got into, what's some advice you would give people like trying to break into that? Obviously, and we had Chris Myers earlier talk about internships.
Chris Myers, I was on his team. I was on the show before.
Talk about internships and stuff like that. You said you didn't get paid that first year, but what do you tell women and young girls how to get into spots like this?
Yeah, and it's a big thing that you say that, because I mentor a lot of women, and I always respond to every message I get on social media to women. And I wrote a book called In a League of Her Own. It was highlighting the female first. 19 women who paved the way, the Billie Jean Kings, Jackie Joyner Kersey, and Danica Patrick, all of those. And my biggest thing is get in anyhow you can. And when I say that, first of all, go to all these different events, network, get cards, make an impression, and then okay, yes, let's say you want to be in basketball ops. There's a job in ticket sales. Get in the door, get in the building, you know what I mean? And then work ethic will speak for itself. I can't express how much being just outworking everyone goes a long way. And I learned that from MJ and Kobe. And as a female, there's no room for error. You cannot mess up. So you have to overwork everyone. You have to be perfect, so to speak. But, and then just to keep networking and keep getting out there, be resilient. And then also know your stuff. Don't just be oh, I'm pretty. You better know sports. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Nothing's worse than oh, I'll just have an IFB in my ear and someone will tell me what to ask. No, you got to know your stuff. So
it's funny. I teach a sports broadcasting class at UNLV.
Okay, yeah.
And so I have both of the boys and men and women. What to dovetail on that? Was there a moment in your career where you had to make a decision where you're what direction you were going to go, and how did you keep going? Because obviously you've gotten a whole career out of this,
right?
But I'm sure that was there a crossroads moment for you? And then if there was, how did you handle that?
And not necessarily crossroads, but I think as a female, and not just a female, anyone in sports media entertainment, you have to know how to pivot.
Yeah.
You can't just be oh, I'm one dimensional. Yeah. I'm only behind the camera. When you go to college, you learn how to edit, you learn how to, shoot, produce, all of it. And so for me, it's I always want to be able to pivot. I cover all sports.
Okay.
I literally cover MLB, NFL, college hoops, rodeo, horse racing, boxing, MMA, NHL.
I love myself some PBR.
Yeah.
Rodeo.
Yes.
You got me beat. I can mimic you all the way up to the rodeo.
Yeah,
rodeo. You got me.
Great betting sport.
So you have to be able to like pivot and be able to,
I know one thing about 6 seconds. That's it. So that's all I know.
See,
Oh,
8
8.
seconds.
Sorry.
8 seconds.
Sorry.
Wow, look at him.
He's like,
Yeah.
8 seconds. I don't know. That's that.
Like, you did great. You got on 6 seconds. And like, guy's like, no.
No, I lost. that wasn't good enough at all. But I mean, that I think is a great piece of advice about the pivot. And Chris Myers said, follow your talent, not just follow your passion. And I've talked to my kids for years now about following passion, right?
Right.
I think that was a really interesting way of putting it about if you're going this way and it's not working,
Right.
but you're good at that.
If you're really good at writing, like maybe get into writing instead of being on camera, and things will evolve and things will take you where you're supposed to be. But I just think that some people are like, well, I definitely just want to do this. No, that's not how it's going to work. You're not just handed that. You have to like develop these relationships and then see, like a lot of people say they want to be in front of the camera. They're like, no, I love producing. I love, you know what I mean? So you just have to, but I think it's really important to also be able to do radio, TV, digital, like all of it, because otherwise you will not have longevity.
Yeah. Can I bump you for Tyrod Taylor? Is that okay?
There we go.
But thank you.
Perfect.
But quickly, tell folks where they can follow you and get all your stuff.
At Bonnie Jill,
Yep.
it's everywhere, and then at Hounds and Heroes is my charity, and that's it.
Awesome.
Thanks
Thank you
for
for being
having
here.
me,
Appreciate
always.
you being here.
Bye.
Thanks so much. That's Bonnie Jill joining us here on BVB. Tyrod Taylor. I cannot wait for this conversation. My daughter's going to love this conversation. You know, this is a Taylor Swift conversation. This is Tyrod Taylor and Taylor Swift. He's wearing a Taylor Swift shirt. Tyrod Taylor, Taylor Swift. Come in here on this. So this is going to be super fun to talk to Tyrod Taylor. My friend, you can put that on. That would be awesome. Tyrod Taylor, quarterback here, joining us on the Bostonian versus the book. Great to get him on. I'm going to love this conversation. This is going to be so fun. First and foremost, the shirt is awesome.
Oh, appreciate it.
Dairy Queen is putting this together with Taylor and Swift. I need the backstory here. How did this come to be?
Credit the great minds over at Dairy Queen. No, partner with DQ, like you said, for the Taylor and Swift halftime feast with my boy DeAndre Swift.
Does Taylor Swift know we're doing this? She will soon.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, the food on, Super Bowl Sunday is just as big as the plays. So DQ is offering this crispy chicken platter.
Nice.
You could get them. It sets up 25, 50, 75, or 100. Bowl original or the new flamethrower, which is the spicy chicken tender. And I would say if you're doing the new flamethrower, then add the soft serve.
Okay.
Dip it.
Oh.
In the soft serve.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm a big wing guy, so that's good. I'm a big buffalo wing guy. That's good. On game day, that works for me.
There you go.
I want to know if you know what you do is so wild in our world in terms of how good you are when you step in and how many games you have won and how competitive the teams are that you quarterback. Do you? I know wins and losses matter, but when you step in and you're a guy who comes in and a team needs a quarterback to play on that day, how good you are and how competitive the teams are that you quarterback.
I appreciate. I definitely think I do a very good job of doing so. I'm confident in my ability to go out.
How do you do that, though? How are you able to just go and hey, starters down, Tyrod's in, we're going?
Yeah. It's about being intentional in your preparation. Since day one, I was drafted to an organization in Baltimore Ravens where I was able to learn from a lot of veterans. That was the first time that I ever had to sit in my playing career. I played early in high school, I played early in college, but those first 4 years of my league, first 4 years in the NFL, I had an opportunity to learn from guys and just to see how they operated day to day, on the field, off the field. I took that with me throughout the rest of my career. Just challenged myself, regardless of whether I was the 1 or the 2 on the team, that I wouldn't change my preparation. I would focus day in and day out as if the opportunity was going to be that weekend, and just taking each opportunity and making the best of it.
I think if you are breaking this game down, can you take the Patriot hatred away? Do you have Patriot hatred?
I have Patriot hatred.
No Patriot hatred. Come on, in the Jets, you got to.
I played for the Bills too for 3 years. I have every reason to.
Come on now, there's no Patriot hatred.
I have every reason to hate them, but I have friends on that team. Obviously, one of their wide receiver coach Todd Downing was our quarterback coach turned OC a year or 2 years ago with the Jets. I have friends on that team. Morgan Moses played.
Yeah.
I have other friends on the team as well too. So I don't have any hatred. I mean, I look at it just from a football lens. But.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the quarterbacks, how do you break this down? You've got a guy in his second year, biggest game of ever. You've got Darnold that was, in a good position last year, let go, goes to a new system. How do you see these two quarterbacks when, both of them get punched in the face in that game on Sunday?
Yeah,
How do they react?
I think both of them have done a great job of managing and the chaos well.
Yeah.
Drake obviously is only in his second year, but the moment ever seems too big for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sam, throughout his career, has been battle tested, and he showed his resilience. Yeah, it's tough to call which team is gonna be victorious. I think
No
both
call.
teams. Yeah.
No call. No call. Oh, you no call. No, no pick.
You did say that some current players may not be looking to make
Uh-huh.
a call, and you'll
I
look
said-
for that bulletin board
I
stuff.
said current players aren't going to make a call in this game. This time.
It's pretty tough. I mean, I think both teams obviously are deserving to be in their spot. They complement each other well. Both rally behind their quarterback. It's gonna be a good game, as it should be. Super Bowl is how you cap off the NFL season. Looking forward to a good game.
So I've been spending some time over the last few years with a guy, Jet super fan, Gary V. Have you had any interactions with him at all?
I
along
haven't.
the
We
way?
follow each other on Instagram, but I haven't had a chance to interact with him.
Okay, I've been following him. So I have a soft spot for the Jets. I know I sat with him in a green room a few years ago when they just signed Rodgers, and then saw him about a week just after the Achilles heel to Rodgers.
Oh.
So yeah, I always looking to see how the results are, to see how he's reacting after it and feeling it. Obviously a tough season. How do you feel about going into next year?
Yeah, not the season that we wanted to have, but sometimes it's growing pains when you're trying to shift the culture. I think AG is the right person for the shift in the culture. I know being inside the locker room, the guys believe in him, believe in his messaging, and it's just about being able to learn from this past year and build on it. Starts within our division.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have someone in the Super Bowl representing our division, and to be able to get to that, which you don't talk about that now. It's just about being able to slowly chip away, and it starts with being competitive within your division, and that's being competitive against Miami, being competitive against Buffalo, as well as the Patriots, and then starting to widen the lens from there.
Yeah, is there a spot like that? You've got a team within your division in it, so you'd hope they kind of win, or is it we don't want them to win? So
No, I think you more so just look at it like they changed things. I mean, obviously the Patriots have had a ton of success in history, but a year ago, it wasn't like you wasn't thinking this.
No,
they were able to shift this. So
6 months ago,
exactly, you were able to shift this. I think that's more so the proof. And when I say that, I think it's more so the proof that it doesn't take a long time to be able to shift things. It's about believing in the culture, believing in the coach, and ultimately going out there and winning games.
So that's it. Both of these teams coming into this were 60-1 shots, which is like 1.5% chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So obviously giving you hope, sort of looking at this and going, teams can change their fortune so quickly.
100%.
What do we need to do the same thing?
100%. Look inward and understand that everything, obviously, NFL roster is going to change year after year, but understand that you do have a lot of the pieces that it takes already within your roster. It's just about challenging and focus and getting everybody on the same page.
From a player perspective, when the league changes 10 coaches over, 10 teams with new head coaches, as a player, do you just like sit back and go like, what's going on? Because this is such normally players, coaches, systems, you look to see where you fit. Is it weird to see that a third of the teams change their head coach?
Yeah, just feels like a shift. I mean, sometimes it happens more so than not, but it definitely feels like a shift. I've seen some head coaches willingly take offensive coordinator jobs or just defensive coordinator jobs as well. I think it's just a shift in the league. Happens every so often. I've been around it long enough to see some shifts in the league, but yeah, it's an interesting spot to be in, and I also just think that there's a lot of competitive teams out there that are just small pieces away from being exactly where they want to be.
The Patriots would be sort of like the example of that, right?
Exactly.
You change the head coach and you add new players, new pieces, and They're here
Exactly.
in this game on Sunday. Is it when you look at the NFL as a player and you look at the way the game is developing, even at the quarterback position? We've heard Tom Brady talk about that we're not developing quarterbacks. You've been around for a while. How are you able to jump around to offense and learn them as fast as you do?
I think a lot of it goes back to the first 4 years that I was in the league and being able to rely on a lot of the things that were taught to me and how to break down defenses, how to study schemes and how to understand. I was also exposed to different coordinators early in my career that allowed me to be able to pick up new offenses as my journey progressed. The game has changed, but a lot of it is still the same. And there's not that many schemes out there. So I think once you've learned a few, you can kind of get the gist of all of them.
Is there a system you prefer to play in? RPOs seem to be the name of the game now.
Yeah, that has its place. I think all of it has its positive. I think ultimately the best coordinators do a great job of filling out what the quarterback work likes the best and how to get their playmakers truly involved and getting those guys open.
I mean, you've been a resilient guy in the quarterback position, a couple of teams, whatnot. You still love it? You still love getting ready for the season?
I wouldn't line up and play. I always said that as long as I wasn't fighting through injury and I still enjoyed the preparation of getting ready for a season, then I'll continue to play. Because once you're in there playing, it's something that I've been doing since I was 5 years old. I truly love it. But the moment I don't enjoy getting ready for a season, then my heart isn't in it anymore.
Well, the other thing they always say, you're a long time retired, so make sure you squeeze it all out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Tyrod, thank you once again. Tell folks what could you do with Dairy Queen. What's coming up between the Taylor Swift day?
Taylor and Swift.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, you go to DQ app or dairyqueen.com to get your order for your Taylor and Swift halftime feast.
Very nice. Thank you for doing it. Stay healthy. Congratulations on the year. That's Tyrod Taylor joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Great to get him on the show talking about his career in the NFL and the Taylor and Swift. I think it's a very creative marketing play by Dairy Queen. I like it. It works. My daughter will be all about it. She'll be into it. She'll be excited. So as we're rolling here. So very, very cool. We are supposed to talk to Donovan McNabb. I don't know if he ran away or not, but I'll check here in a second if not. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, we're getting some free food out of it. I'll take it. Let's go. My daughter's a big DQ fan, so we can go to Dairy Queen. Very cool on that. So we'll see if McNabb is going to be by. If not, we may wrap up here because we're on 3 hours. This has been I'm impressed. I'm impressed by you. You've done a good job.
I tell you what, I think I got the bug.
Got the bug.
I think I'm enjoying this.
Adam got the bug. Look out. Here we go. We're going to be flying back to Vegas.
These conversations with just
it's fun.
People that you never speak to before, and you come up with some
that's why we come
questions.
here, right? I mean, that's why people just sit down and you're like, who are you? Like, it's just on the fly. You just have to go ahead and talk. So it's been a hell of a start, and this has been awesome. And obviously, thank you to BetCris for being here to do this. And then McNabb is next 5 minutes. Okay. And Franklin pushed, so McNabb, we can wrap up. Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's wonderful. That's good because we are on fumes. So it's been 3 hours. So get one more and we're good. That's tremendous. So we'll get Donovan McNabb here in 5 minutes.
And it's a pretty big one to finish.
Yes, it is. It's a hell of a way of finishing off. To talk about the former Eagles quarterback and the guy that from a Patriot fan perspective. Let's go. So we got it on him. Beat the Eagles, and then his Eagles came back with the Philly special and beat the Patriots. So that is a 1-1 situation. The Seahawks winning Sunday would even up the score 1-1. Patriots are 2-0 against the Rams, or 0-2 against the Giants. So this is the fourth time the Patriots will have a rematch against the team that they played previously in the Super Bowl. And I kind of want to ask McNabb about, did the Philly special erase that loss? It was his loss, so he was a part of that team. But did that erase or make it any less when you lost to the Patriots by winning over that game? Because I think Seahawks fans are all trying to eliminate the Malcolm Butler memory from their minds.
That was a pretty crazy finish.
That was the craziest finish. My daughter was literally 6 months old. She was on me as I was walking her around because I was trying to get her back to sleep while the game was going on. And she had just fallen to sleep when Malcolm Butler picked off the pass. And I started yelling And then my daughter started screaming.
Oh, boy.
And it turned into a whole mess of like, you woke the baby up and what are you doing? I was like, look what's going on. The Patriots were going to lose and now they're going to win. It was, it was one of those moments of like, you can't believe it actually happened.
Right.
And you have to go back and like slow it down. Watching it live, I didn't know what the hell happened. Like, how did that happen? Like, what?
I was in an airport somewhere.
Oh,
I
my.
can't remember
Yeah,
where. And I was sitting down watching the game. And again, it was jerseys, both kinds of jerseys, whatnot. And then it was just, those kind of endings are pretty wild and crazy and sickening and joyful.
Well, sickening depending what side you're on.
Yeah.
On that. I had bet the Patriots that day, so I thought my bet was dead. So I was like, and I really thought, Patriots in the Super Bowl were very good bets. After, the 28-3 bet, I thought for sure that bet was dead. I came back in cash. that was dead. It was all these different bets, historically speaking. 13-3. I got killed on 13-3. I thought that game was going to be an over. I thought the one saving grace was the Patriots winning the game on the money line. But everything else I got wrong, like dead wrong. So I was like, that was horrible. And that was a great day for you guys behind the counter. You took down everybody. Every prop bet went under.
That was a solid one, that one.
Public got crushed. And I think it could be, potentially, I think it could be the reverse here. I think I've seen so many people say bet the under, bet over on punts, over on punt yardage. This is going to be a punt fest. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not sold. This game is going to be 13-10.
And that's the thing. And I've sat with a lot of bettors and a lot of groups that do this. And when they look at this game and they line it up, they also do an opposite effect. And they run their models through kind of doing an opposite effect. And that's where sometimes, they find these that year when the team scored 3 points and they were on that team to score 3 points.
Yeah.
Enormous odds. So there's those kind of aspects of it of when you start looking into this. Yes, the easiest thing to do in sports betting is go, I know the answer. The hardest thing to say is, I have no clue what this is going to be. So let me just look at it from a different perspective. And let me look at some of these things that look possible, but they're insane odds and take some little shots on that.
Yeah.
Even if it's $10-20 on something that's 40-50 to 1, but you have it in your gut that if I actually look at this from a different perspective, this could happen or that could happen.
Yeah. So unfortunately, McNabb had to go. So we're not going to be able to end with Donovan McNabb. We apologize for that, but he was going to take Seattle. Guaranteed. Guaranteed he was taking Seattle. So I tell you, as I said, not one person took the Patriots.
No, it's
during
scary.
the 3-hour live 3-hour show. Not one person took the Patriots to win this game. Eric, great job, my friend. This was awesome. Adam, you were awesome. Like, great job.
This was great.
3 hours. This was awesome. Thank you for flying in. Hopefully this made it worth all the flights and all the time in the air.
100%.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's phenomenal. You guys in the brigade, thank you for hanging out. We're not done. We're doing it tomorrow. Same type of situation. 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock Pacific time. And don't forget, we made that announcement. BetCris Arizona, the new title sponsor, starting on Monday for the Bostonian versus the book. He's Adam Bjorn. I'm Matt Perrault. Thank you to Eric Beck in Las Vegas, doing an awesome job producing. We'll talk to you tomorrow for a Friday's episode of the Bostonian versus the book.